Hello, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/the Onyx Path, where tonight we are gathering for the special privilege of a They Came from the Cyclops' Cave actual play. I apologize for our late start. We had to slay a few fantasy creatures before we were able to get on the internet, but here we are, ready to show this game off for you. For some strange reason, it looks like we have a bad camera. I'm going to fix that bad camera while I hand things off over to our story guide for the evening, Tom. Tom, please tell us who you are, what you do, a little bit about yourself, anything you might want to share, and then have the next person introduce themselves, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, my name is Tom. I'm the host of Shared Sagas podcast. As a little plug there, which is an actual play podcast. I am a huge Onyx Path fan, and I am now, having read it this week, a huge fan of this game. They Came from the Cyclops Cave. It's basically a loving tribute to all the fantasy B movies of, well, multiple decades, actually, everything from the 50s, Thief of Baghdad and Jason and the Argonauts, all the way through to the 80s and 90s, like Hercules and Xena. My pronouns are he, him. And yeah, excited to be here. Who wants to go next?
Oh, don't everybody volunteer at once. Go for it, Terry.
Hi, my name's Terry Robinson, and I like mage, but I'm easily convinced to do things, so I'm participating in this actual play. I'm not familiar with the system, the materials, any of the players here, or how actual plays work. So I like to think that I am a stand-in for an audience member who may be familiar with literally nothing, or has possibly recently emerged from a coma, or possibly a very deep cave. And I look forward to playing this game. What else do you need out of me?
I think that's probably it for the moment.
That's it.
Nice. Next up, I'll go next because I'm happy to volunteer. My name's Travis Legg. Pronouns he, him, or they, all are fine. I'm at Travis Legg everywhere on the internet, and I have largely engaged with the They Came From line as a fan, so I am extremely excited to be able to play tonight. And next up, I'm just going to nominate Alexis. Tell us who you are, what you do, pronouns, and things like that.
I'm Alexis. I do all kinds of stuff. Specifically on the internet, you can find me at Secluded Moment. And I'm also not super familiar with They Came from the Cyclops Cave, but I totally am super familiar with Xena and Hercules, and I'm so stoked to be able to play this today. So let's do it.
Excellent. And that leaves us Kim. How about you? Or do you prefer Kimberly?
Kim's fine. But hello, everyone. I'm Kim. I'm one of the freelance writers that actually worked on Cyclops' Cave. I specifically wrote the character archetypes and the tropes associated with them, at least in that chapter. I also worked on Classified, which was my first book. Cyclops' Cave was my third, but my day job is I'm in the Navy. I'm an analyst. So.
Excellent. And that leaves us with Zach, right?
It does, yes. I am Zachary Naldrick, he, him. I have not written anything for Cyclops Cave or officially anything for Onyx Path, except for a lot of, maybe not a lot, but a fair amount of community content. I got my start with streaming by backing a Kickstarter for Technocracy Reloaded, where I got to stream with Travis, and this happens to be another Kickstarter that has streaming slots available, so kind of coming full circle on that.
That is true. If you go over and you back, I believe there are a couple of slots left for the Classified game and the Cyclops' Cave game, so those are available at the Kickstarter. So I'm going to stop flapping my gums and hand complete control over to Tom.
Oh no, okay. So, as mentioned, They Came from the Cyclops' Cave is the wonderful game we're playing today. It uses the story path system like all the other They Came From line of games do. So we need to have a whole bunch of D10s. So I guess, obviously, some of you are familiar with the system, some of you wrote for the system, others are not, and obviously audience members may not be as well. So we are going to go through just the real basics. So This is a D10 dice pool system, like so many wonderful games that Onyx Path producers are. You are going to be looking at successes as an 8 or a 9 is 1 success, and a 10 is 2 successes. Whenever you roll, you'll be rolling, in most cases, one of your attributes and one of your skills, forming a dice pool with the total equal to that number. 8 or 9 is a success, 10 is 2 successes, so it's kind of like a more difficult exalted. And there's a bunch of other character stuff as well. So you will notice on your character sheets, if I just bring one up really quickly, we won't go through everything at the beginning because obviously, there'll be things that are probably just better to explain as they come up in play. But there's one thing, actually a couple of things that you'll need to finish off as far as your characters go, and that's going to be your aspirations and your relationships. Now, relationships aren't actually given. Oh, yes, they are. Sorry, down the bottom right there. So what we'll do, I think, is go around and give a brief description of the character that you're actually playing, because that will help other people inform what kind of relationship they want to have with them. So I guess to give you an idea of the setting, which is probably a good thing to do since I'm asking for your creative input with your characters on this one, we're going to be running through one of the preview adventures in the core rulebook. And it is called The Sundering of the Peacebringers. And this one is very much reminiscent of an episode of Hercules and Xena. It's very much in sort of, fantasy, not ancient Greece. If you're looking for, I guess, an aesthetic or any sort of creative inspiration there. So what I'll do is just go top to bottom. Travis, why don't you tell us all about the character that you're playing today? Just a real brief description and their pronouns too.
Sure. The character that I am playing is Swan. Swan is a scoundrel.
Mm-hmm.
He's the jack of all trades, master of none. He is the fast-talking, swindling scoundrel type. He may or may not have a very square chin and a penchant for showing up in all sorts of B movies, anyone that'll pay him. He may have at some point, the actor portraying Swan may have at some point had a chainsaw for a hand. That's really kind of the vibe that I'm going for this fella. He's a scoundrel archetype with a hard life origin, and his quest is heart turner. So he is all about the romance and the joy of both life itself and the pleasures of the tavern. His tropes are Trapmaster, well-oiled abs, and the hideout, and I'm sure that all those will come into play at some point during this game. So that's an overview of Swan.
That's fantastic. Do you have an actor that you've cast as Swan?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Bruce Campbell. I'm sorry if I was being a little too obtuse.
No, that's okay. Good. Awesome. No, good to know. Thank you so much, Travis. That's awesome. And Kim, do you want to go next?
All right, so I'm playing Glintwing, the fairy dragon, or displaced fairy dragon, as puppet. So I imagine that it goes between shots of a bearded dragon wearing fairy wings that's been painted somehow purple, and an actual hand puppet, depending on what shot you're going for.
Nice.
So their origin is hard life, so it's probably one of the last, or thinks that they're one of the last fairy dragons, and they're off in the quest for the world to. Their quest is monster hunter, so they're probably trying to convince an evil dragon to stop rampaging or kill it, with the goal to return back home. And their tropes are Nope, which is one of my favorite ones to write. Shifting Mass and Breaker of Change.
That's awesome. And Glintwing is they, them?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Great. Thank you so much, Kim. Zach, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm playing Shalnar the Inhuman. I'm picturing some sort of man-beast type thing, probably like a minotaur.
Okay, cool.
He is the Inhuman archetype chosen one. So for some reason, he's been chosen. Minotaurs maybe aren't necessarily a popular race. They're not something that are common knowledge other than a certain labyrinth. So he's not stuck in there, and therefore he's been chosen not to be stuck in there. And Cursebreaker, he maybe was not always in Minotaur. There's something there. He's gonna find out. Tropes are
awesome.
Darkness is my ally, jog the man's memory, and the power of friendship.
I love that one. That's great. That's so cool. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Zach. And Terry, would you like to go next?
I will be playing Mechadocus, the sage, skilled in arts both magical and mechanical. I am keenly suspicious of these gods. Sure, they bring down plagues and lightning and fire and have a higher VFX budget than us, but they're just another type of magic user. In unrelated news, I have a curse that has been laid upon me. I don't know what it is, but I think I got it after a party that someone said a god was at, and I'm very suspicious of it. And I tend to blame things on that, like untied sandals and glitter appearing in weird places that won't go away. So my quest is to find out who laid that upon me and whether the curse of glitter is real or not. I think it is. My tropes are bigger on the inside, experimental devices, and nope. So I too can nope things. I have a preternatural skill with magic, and I think everyone else is just being lazy.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And Alexis, would you like to round us out, please?
All right. I'm playing Callisto today. I'm a dreamer. I have lots of ideas. You know, I think there are places that we could go. We just have to have a little bit of guidance, and maybe I can be that guidance. And I think that we're going to get through this. But you know what? I'm also not averse to just, whacking things a couple of times if need be.
Very good.
My background is folk hero. My ambition is to find the more exciting things in life. My tropes are blink of an eye, shattering glass, and battle forged.
That is absolutely splendid. So if you look to your character sheets, you will see that also, pardon me. Did everyone get the email that I sent through that has the list of cinematic powers to choose from today? Because the cinematic powers are something that you start the session with. Normally, of course, you can either roll randomly from the wide selection that they have in the book, or of course, there's the cards that come that you can sort of shuffle if you have the physical widgets to play with. I thought, in the effort to sort of streamline things a little bit, I sort of curated a list of. Sorry, 1 second. My cat is attacking something. I'm so sorry. 1 minute.
No worries. As a fellow pet owner, I am well aware. But yeah, did everybody get that list of cinematics?
I got it.
Excellent.
Sincere apologies.
No worries.
My cat is going to be a problem. So basically, if you have a look over there, so you guys can choose. So you folks can choose whichever ones you like. We are looking for 5 to start with 5. So we can either roll randomly for them, or you can pick your favorite and go with those. So just if you can each just
5 amongst the group.
Yeah, it's 5 total for the group. So if each one of us
total,
pulls one, then we should be in good shape, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So you can either just each of you pick one. I guess is probably the easiest way to do it. That way, everyone gets a say. And
I would like timely skills.
Timely skills, great, thank you.
Yes.
I am letting the dice decide, and I rolled a 3, and 5 steps ahead is the third one on the list. So
great, perfectly valid way of doing it. Thank you.
I'll go with visual storytelling.
Excellent choice. Thank you.
Let's see. I'll go with pause to monologue.
Great. One of my favorites. Okay, and one more.
So I guess that leaves me, right?
Yeah.
I think I'll go with timely skills, if that's all right.
We've already had timely skills selected.
Do we have timely
You've
skills
got that
selected?
one?
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
In that case, let's do Hand of Fate.
Great. Perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Excellent.
Lovely. So those are the 5 that we start with. So what I'm going to do now is just get you, for the sake of expediency, what we're going to do is just kind of trim down the relationships a little bit, because typically what you would do is you would choose a relationship with each player at the table, ranked from 3 to 1. So we're going to start with just 1. So basically, now that you have an idea of who everyone else is playing, if you could simply select one other cast member and write down let's say a 3-point relationship with them. And this can be positive or negative. It can be something like secret crush, or it can be bitter rival or friendly rival, probably in this case. And basically the way this works is that once per session, you can invoke this relationship in a situation where it would come up. Like, for example, if you are, engaged in some sort of physical activity and you wanted to double down on the fact that you're competing with your rival, you can invoke this, and you get to have add a number of bonus dice equal to the strength of the relationship. So in this case, 3 extra bonus dice for the scene to accomplish that. So either, fighting side by side to protect a secret crush, or involved in a running race against a rival, all that kind of thing.
Shalnar, if it's okay with you, I would like to admire your minotaurliness. Not like in a weird way, but kind of in a weird way, because it's not in a weird way. Because you're like, no, I think he just likes minotaurs. Yeah. Like people who are like, my favorite animal is the dugong. You're like, who the dink picks the dugong? Like one of those.
I can work in that. And
okay.
As the minotaur has not ever really experienced magic, having a sage around is intriguing to him.
That's
nice.
Great. That's awesome. So thank you for getting it. Travis, who would you like to have a relationship with?
So I think Callisto's a dreamer. And Callisto has this vision for the world, and I think that that's precious, and I would like to just protect that to the best of my ability. So I'm protective of Callisto, but specifically about about their, what I perceive to be their innocence. They may be the bawdiest, most foul person in this party, but I'm like, oh, you spring child, you. There's a good chance that Swan's perceptions of everyone are going to be absolutely inaccurate, because he's entirely too self-involved to actually bother to learn about his traveling companions. So if that's all right with Alexis, that would be the relationship I would pick for a 3. Excellent.
Fantastic. Kim, who would you like to have a relationship with?
So I think Glintwing wants to have a relationship with Theodosis, as like riding on his shoulder like a gigantic scaly parrot. But otherwise,
that's great.
Dueling tomes of knowledge, because of course Glintwing has a different perception of mysticism than Theodosis does. So,
how large are you?
Depending on the shot, it could be the bearded dragon, or it could be the hand puppet.
Got it. So you're not like physically crushing me unless they do some force perspective stuff.
Not unless I do shifting masks.
Okay, got it.
Great.
Then hopefully Glintwing would not be on your shoulder at that point. Hopefully.
We'll see. We'll find out. Thank you so much. Yeah. That's awesome. And Zach, who would you like to have a relationship with?
if I'm understanding Swan's character to be sort of a scoundrel, maybe a little bit of a thief, steals things from time to time.
I borrow things, pick up objects that have been misplaced, you know.
Shalnar is fairly trusting and saw a bunch of people chasing after Swan one day and stood in the way and believed Swan when he said that he didn't take said item, and has kind of like, this guy's funny. He's a good guy. Why is everybody always saying he steals stuff?
I have a request. Could the item in question be the honor of like a queen mother of a distant land? Like some royal's grandma.
When you say the honor, can the honor be the name of a battleship that you stole?
Battleship. That's fantastic.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm a fan of Quintuple and Dondra, so sure, yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Shalnar, not understanding the human ways, would absolutely be okay with that.
It's not
That
what
is
you
amazing.
think.
That's so great.
Honor is something you can't steal. It has to be given away.
That's amazing. I think that's it. Is that everybody? Sorry?
I don't have one.
Oh, sorry. Pardon me. Sorry. Alexis, go ahead.
Quinlan, you have wings, right? Did you say that? Yeah? Okay. So I think I would like to have a relationship with you because my character is obsessed with the thought of flying. And the fact that you can do that is just like absolutely the coolest thing ever.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's really great. Thank you all so much for that. The other thing we're going to do is aspirations. Now, we're going to do the convention scenario quick version of this, which is you are going to think of one short-term aspiration. Now, aspirations, just like other story path games, do not need to be something that your character wants. It's something that you as a player want to have happen. You know, something you would like to accomplish. It could be, and it can be as simple as, you know, I would like to get into a fight, or I would like to try a social persuasion check, or I would like to encounter a weird monster, whatever. You just it can be a personal character goal that you as a player share, or it can be something, you know, very, very meta, completely up to you. Let's just have a short think about that, and then when you're ready, let me know what they are, because I will try my very, very best to make sure that they get to pop up in the scenario at some point.
I have one, I think. Let me know if this is too complicated. I would like to be caught up in a gross misunderstanding.
Okay, you know what? I feel like I can accommodate that. That's fine. Splendid. Kim, what would your aspiration be?
Probably encounter an interesting or large monster.
Cool. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Zach?
Take a punch meant for somebody else.
Great. Lovely. And Terry?
I would like to get out of trouble, or at least convince someone of an utterly horse hockey story. I used to tell new hires at my company that the word actuary was the Algonquin word for friend, and they believed me, and I have never done greater work in my life.
That's really great. Thank you so much for that. And Alexis?
So I want to bop somebody on the head, but not necessarily because I'm feeling threatened, but just randomly feel the need to bop somebody.
Splendid.
And then I also want to bend somebody to my will. So either convince them of something that they wouldn't ordinarily do, or change their opinion on something.
Okay. Hey, that's great. No, that works out really well. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. And so I think we are pretty much good to go with your character creation stuff. So as mentioned, D10 dice pool system, we'll deal with the actual subsystems like combat and investigation and such when they pop up. But that's all you really need to know at this point. Now, the other really cool mechanic that I believe all the other They Came From games share is the writer's pool, in which you have your resource, which, it's very, very similar to like momentum in Trinity or fate points or inspiration in D&D. This is your cool resource that you can draw upon to accomplish really great things. And so what they are is, where are we? Sorry, one moment. So you can use them to activate your cinematic powers, and each of those you'll note on it has a cost of how many rewrites or rewrite points it takes to do that. You can also use them to purely just add dice to a roll, and you can choose to do that after you've rolled as well. So if you roll and you don't get any successes, and you've got a few rewrites there, you can use those and other such things. Now we're going to start with a number as dictated by a little intro scene that I've come up with. So the only other thing to note is quips, because quips are super cool. So quips are your pithy one-liners that all the They Came From games have. You will see them there on your character sheet. And basically, whenever the moment strikes that you feel you can quote those and throw them out in play, we as a group will decide whether it's an appropriate use of the quip. No, it does not have to be funny. But in a lot of cases they are. As long as it's appropriate and it fits and it's on brand, then we'll be good to go. And the way it works is, if you use it for the first time, you get to add +1 dice to whatever you're rolling for. And then if you use it successfully, you get to keep that quip for the time being. And then the second time you use it, you add 2 dice, and then 3 dice, and then 4 dice. So it encourages you to kind of use the same quip over and over again. Whether you are successful or not, you have to discard that particular quip after 5 uses. So hopefully by that point, you'll have used it successfully 5 times, and you'll be, that final roll will be, +5 dice. So if you get at least 3 successes after a successful quip, it's called a legendary quip. And you get to do one of the following. You get to hold on to it permanently for the rest of the adventure, or you can choose between drawing an extra quip, or you can actually use a cinematic for free. So cinematics normally have a cost, obviously, as we just mentioned. But if you get a legendary quip, then that's your opportunity to right there and there, if there's an appropriate one, use a cinematic for free. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let's get into the actual scenario. Does anyone have any questions on the basics or anything we've gone over so far?
No, I think I'm good.
Great.
I just missed. I'm missed writing down a couple of the cinematic powers that we were having to start off in the rewrites. So I've got 5 steps ahead, visual telling, storytelling, and pause to the monologue. What are the other 2 that we had?
So timely skills and hand of fate.
Okay. And since this is something that appears to be new and they came from Cyclops Cave, there is some that have a C and some that has an ME. Is there a difference there?
Yes, sorry, pardon me. So basically, they are all the cinematic powers in this are either going to be just general cinematics, like all the other They Came From, or this is the really clever way that Cyclops Cave does magic, because some of them are magical powers. Some of them are both. Some of them you can pay extra cost to have a much more potent and magical effect, whereas other ones are just exclusively, no, this is just a magic thing, or this is just a cinematic, etc. And they'll be listed there which one they are. And the description will obviously give you an idea of what of whether it's an overly magical effect or whether it's something that's just a bit more meta. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Thank you.
Great, that's awesome. Okay, so the Sundering of the Peacebringers. So as mentioned, this is one of the adventures in the core book. It is very much a not ancient Greece sort of setting. It could very easily be an episode of Hercules or Xena. And the way I thought we'd frame this one is if we are watching an old VHS cassette of like an 80s fantasy movie as kind of the style and aesthetic. So as we begin our scene, as we opens up, and of course we see the Sundering of the Peacebringers in that, 80s electric blue. The soundtrack swells, and it's a strange mixture of, pseudo orchestral with also some sick synth piano tracks in there as well. Swells to a crescendo. And as we begin, we are at the Festival of Olympus. Olympus, pardon me. God, okay. So the Festival of Olympus. It is a huge festival. And Olympus is a sort of a smallish town that has a very, very large temple to Aphrodite. And this festival is just this huge, glorious affair. People have come from far and wide. There's dancing, singing, juggling, fire twirling, all manner of delights and sights and sounds. You can see there are stalls that are selling all manner of treats and all kinds of wares from, once again, all over Greece and beyond. Your characters are there in attendance because you are traveling adventurers and heroes who basically are just pals and just kind of wander around like Hercules and Xena do, just solving problems, doing good deeds, saving the day, being heroes, all that kind of thing. But the main draw, the main thing that has brought you to this festival today is, in fact, the Peacebringers. And the Peacebringers are actually supernaturally good pair of lovers who are also acrobats. Their acrobatic show, the Peacebringers, is legendary. It is the greatest trapeze act in the entire world. They do amazing things and people come from far and wide. Basically, this festival could very much have been put on mostly because of them as the center act. And so as we put our way through, the camera goes through the crowd, we see your characters and such. Can I just get like a montage of everyone just describing their character and, what they look like, but also just them doing something at a festival. It can be anything at all. It just, you get a little description to kind of, as we sort of introduce your character, show us everything we need to know about your character by what they're getting up to at the festival. Let's begin with Travis.
Sure. So this is like a citywide festival, I assume, correct?
Yeah, it's like a large ancient Greek town. The sets are pretty good. We have a reasonable budget for a B-grade 80s movie.
And this is a festival that celebrates Aphrodite, of course.
Yes, it is. It's next to the big temple, and there's a huge amphitheater which is definitely the centerpiece, where the Peacebringers are going to do their remarkable, acrobatic trapeze act soon.
So I am definitely nowhere near that. I am in the most rundown tavern in the village, approaching the saddest, loneliest looking unaccompanied young lady that I can find with a pair of drinks.
Okay.
And sitting across from her, sliding her a drink and saying, "It's the festival of beauty and love, and you are sitting at this table by yourself."
Okay, great. So yeah, lovely. So she just kind of sits there and looks up at you and looks down with the disgruntled, and we'll just say that she's, some middle-aged Greek woman, tan skin, hair going a little gray. She's like, "Oh, I don't feel very loved or beautiful today."
Well, we have several hours of sunlight left. What would a young adventurer such as myself need to do to change that for you?
Okay, so she just sort of looks at the drink in your hand and just sort of says, "Oh, I suppose this is a good start." And just takes the drink. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And Kim, what is Glintwing doing?
Well, Glintwing is hanging out on Mekadosius' shoulder. Every flutter, throwing clear glitter onto his clothes. But otherwise, just admiring the scenery, convincing him to feed them various things on sticks.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes if it's too cold, they a little burst of fire to heat it up.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And Zach, what's Shalnar getting up to?
So as the trapeze act is going on, Shalnar is watching it. Probably, but he's towards the back because he doesn't want anybody who can't see it to be blocked by him.
Mhm.
He is rather tall, and the horns and stuff. He's not quite tall enough to qualify as a higher scale, but he's just on that cusp. If he grew like a half an inch, he would go up in scale and size. There's probably some children that have gathered around and that are climbing up on him to watch. So he's like probably just beefed up with like a kid on each shoulder and like another kid sitting on each horn so that they can see the trapeze act.
That's adorable. I love that so much. Just kind of sitting there disgruntled with like just covered in children, basically. Yeah. And there are no other minotaurs around, but it's fantasy ancient Greece. So there's a couple of satyrs. There's even a centaur in the corner there, basically. Just let's say the blacksmith is a centaur. Why not? So it's very much the costume department gets their full run in this shot as well. That's great. Terry, obviously with Glintwing on your shoulder, what are you doing?
I am arguing with a priest of Aphrodite, being like, I understand that she's, and I have two personas, the one where I'm going to be the wisely wizard and the one without the crappy wig, which is just me otherwise. So this is my blend in disguise. I understand that you think she's the god, but everything you said she's done, I have a friend who can do with beer and perfume, and he has no temple yet. Glintwing can do magic, and it is real, and it is here. The only thing they're doing is some sort of performance. I think it's called in flagrante delicto. I think it must be one of the northern lands. This is really not that impressive.
And that's fantastic. And I think that the priest that you're arguing with is an enormous muscle-bound, like himbo dude with a toga on.
Yes, himbo priests.
Curly red hair. He's like, no, but like she's a god though, Like there's magic, and then there's like magic. And you realize that you are effectively assailing a brick wall here, which, unfortunately is the case when speaking to many priests of Aphrodite. So let us move on to Alexis. What is Callisto doing?
Callisto is trying to just kind of amp up everybody around her. So she's making her way through the crowds of people and like intentionally like touching everybody on the shoulder and like just reaching down and holding hands with certain people and being like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. We have to get closer. Come on. And I'm just pulling people in and like creating a little bit of circle of like just very excited people around me and just kind of basking and having these people who are like paying attention to me, but also excited about the festival, but then paying attention to me.
Oh, that is amazing. That is just adorable. And so what I was going to do is award you all a number of starting rewrites on a scale of 1 to 5 as to how cool your little descriptions were. And you know what? They were so good, I'm actually going to start you off with 6. So you can either keep track of that yourself as well, but I'll keep track of my little tokens here. So you have 6 rewrites to start with.
Well, thank you.
That is okay. And don't thank me just yet, because troubles are brewing, because there's a scream, there's a cry of alarm as our call to adventure begins. We see a camera cut of people running around and causing an alarm. We can see that there is a crowd swelling around the edge of the amphitheater, and people are running and are kind of looking in a sort of northern direction. And yeah, you can see that people are swarming around a figure who appears to be, sort of crying and weeping, and but people are getting really, really upset. It's like the crowd is becoming almost aggressive with the development that has occurred. What do you do?
Say, excuse me, Galatea, was it? I'll be back just a moment. They're playing my song. Why don't you get yourself another drink? I toss her a coin, and grab me too while you're at it. And I toss another coin and run out of the pub toward the screaming.
She says, "Thank you. It was Wendy, by the way." So you continue along. So you run off. Do the rest of you run to the scene, or are we letting Swan lead the way here?
I'll run to the scene as well, but I'm gonna like drag some of the people who I've been kind of made like a little circle with. I'm gonna just like, oh my goodness, we need to go see what's happening. Come on.
That's amazing. That's great. So yeah, so you come with a small entourage. Fantastic. And do the rest of you approach as well, or are you hanging back for now?
Where's your god now, Greek himbo? And with that, the cape goes over the corner and we go in the direction.
That's great. And it's just a lingering shot of him looking really confused, like, what?
I like the idea that I try and press off of his chest and it is so glistening, my hand literally slips.
It slips off. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. So great. So basically, you all converge on the scene. You can see that the person that is crying and has caused the alarm and is now getting a little bit of unreasonable aggravation towards her is in fact none other than one of the Peacebringers, and this is Penelope. So as mentioned, they are a pair of lovers, and so she is basically, from what you know of their act, she is the kind of the booker. She's the brains of the outfit. You know, she runs the numbers, books the acts, and all that kind of thing. And Theodosis, who is the other member, her partner, is very much just, you know, he's a bit of the brawn and a bit of the other half of the gorgeous, because they are both just a supernaturally attractive couple. So Penelope is played by Anya Chalotra, who is Yennefer from the Witcher series. If you're familiar, if any of you have seen the Witcher on Netflix. If not, well, so basically she is a South Asian British actor who is just, you know, very, very attractive, long dark hair. She is dressed in an ancient Greek acrobat outfit, which I imagine is something that the props department had to come up with and show some creativity with. It's kind of vaguely toga-like, but with obviously more sequins and a few things that are a little bit anachronistic and a bit more contemporary than would have actually existed back in ancient Greece. But yeah, so she has just got tears streaming down her face, and she looks to you with, you know, hopeful eyes as you approach, and she just says, "He's gone. He's run off. He's fled. But it wasn't him. He must have been magically compelled. He was moving at a supernatural speed back to his home village to the north."
Wait.
Please, someone must go and retrieve him.
I'm sorry. Did your companion ditch you here in the middle of this festival?
Theodosis did, yes. I mean, but it wasn't him. He didn't mean to leave. He was, he ran away. It was something magical. He was moving at supernatural speed. And I can tell he did not want to leave.
That is horrible. Would you like to go in and have a pint and talk about it?
No, we have to go and find him, please. Do you have horses?
Do we have horses?
You do. You can definitely have horses, yes. You know that if you go and retrieve the other half of this star act, that the festival organizers will give you horses. And, you know, if it's of interest to you in particular, Travis, with your character, you'll probably be very, very richly rewarded if you manage to make sure that the show can go on.
All right. I'm certain we can get horses. Where's his village?
Okay, so she says, sorry, one moment, I do apologize.
No worries.
His village is
in the southern
Dimethos.
hemisphere. Okay.
His village is Dimethos. It's to the north. It's not far. With horses, you'll be there in an hour.
Is there? I have grave concerns that we won't be able to convince him, compulsion or no, that we are allies. Is there any way I can persuade you to come with us on this journey?
She says, oh, how can I put this delicately? He's a very, very beautiful man. He's not very bright, though. I'm sure that through some manner of charlatanry or trickery, you would be able to convince him to come back. But I know he wants to come back. This would not be him doing this. It's obviously some strange magical effect gone awry.
You're dodging the question, lady. You're getting more suspect as each moment passes. And you know what? If you have half as much to hide as this Aphrodite does, then something stinky is going down in Troy, okay? Answer the man's question. Will you go with us? No is entirely acceptable. We believe in consent.
Friend, he's a little intense. But he's a lot intense, all right? Just everybody calm down, contain yourselves. Especially you. I just point at some random person in the crowd.
Just a small child with an apple in his mouth.
Who's still on Shalnar's shoulder for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Child stuck there. It's far too fall. He'd take bashing damage if he tried to jump down.
I represent this band of heroes who would be more than happy to save the day for you.
Okay. There's a stern older woman that taps you on the back. She's tall, broad-shouldered. Her hair is done up in a, sort of almost like a Marge Simpson gigantic, gray beehive on top of her head. She says, yes, and rest assured the festival will compensate you if you manage to bring back the other half of this act. There's frankly no show without him. And she looks around at the crowd, who is really, they are getting rather sort of petulantly angry right now at the thought that the act will not, because many of them have traveled for, days or weeks to come and see this act. So they look really upset at the prospect that it may not go ahead. So she says, I suppose we can try to placate them for the time being, but please, you must hurry. Your reward will be rich.
I don't know who this rich is, but I look forward to meeting them. Band, a woman with a fake British accent has talked to us as done by the voice of a person with an Australian accent. This means business. No time for banter. Let's ride.
I look forward to meeting Rich when we get done. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Clarify, there's no Rich. So I guess with that, you're
secrets within secrets. This place is built on sand.
Splendid. Well, so with that, what we're going to do is cut, because this is the part in the VHS tape where it's kind of skips because it was recorded from television. And so if anyone wants to add one more rewrite to the pool, I will reward you with, we see a brief flash of one 80s commercial that was kind of stuck as it was before the cut happens. So what is like the 5 seconds of commercial that we see before it moves on to you all on horseback on the road?
The local B. Dalton Books is running a jazzercise clinic to jazz your way back into your husband loving you, because emotional awareness in males was not invented until 1993.
I was there.
Good.
It's true. It was not invented until 1993.
That's so true. Okay, good. Very good. So that's an extra rewrite. So now you have 7 in the pool. That's beautiful. So you're all on horseback and we're all, you're moving across. Now, it is definitely not filmed in Greece. It is most definitely filmed in New Zealand.
In Vancouver.
In Vancouver. I'm going to go with New Zealand with the Hercules and Xena thing. But no, Vancouver's cool too. And definitely, like, there's lots of sets as well. So Pinewood Studios in London will definitely get some use. So you make your way along, and you're soon on the road to Dimithos. So the sun is almost ridiculously oppressive right now. It is summer, but it is not normally this hot. And so something you notice is that it's just almost unreasonably hot. Like it's almost like a heat wave has come out of nowhere the moment that you left the city, to the point where I am actually going to need each and every one of you to make your first roll of the game. This is going to be an integrity plus stamina roll. So you're going to roll a number of d10s equal to that. Once again, just as a quick reminder, you look, an 8 or a 9 is a success, and a 10 is 2 successes. This is just difficulty 1. So as long as you get 1 success, you're all fine. Let me know if anyone does not get a success.
Would one of my tropes, this isn't specifically what it's designed for, but in the event that I should just roll off like the top of my tunic and tie it around my waist to show off my well-oiled abs, would I be able to get a +1 enhancement? Now, this is normally applied to seduction, evasion, and rolls to escape from grapples, but
No, this is a perfect creative use of that trope. I will 100% allow it. Plus extra abs. Who's going to argue with that? So let's do
Or
it.
we could just use exalted rules and say you're dodging the sun.
There you go. That's fun because that gives me a +1 enhancement on these 2 dice I'll be rolling.
Oh, I should mention, by the way, for those that aren't familiar with Story Path, an enhancement is an extra or bonus success as long as you roll at least 1 material success. So, for example, if you have an enhancement of 2 and you roll 2 successes, that becomes 4 successes. But if you roll 0, it's still 0 successes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. And
I got
so,
2 successes.
Great.
I got no successes, so.
Oh, okay. So now
But the dragon's on the shoulder, so.
So you
Catch
pass
me.
out. The heat is so oppressive that you pass out. And so I imagine, of course, that your shoulder mount catches you, and it's an adorable little scene that makes us all go, "Oh no!" for the cute creature passing out in the heat.
I botched.
Oh,
Does that even happen in this game?
It does, yeah. No successes and ones. Yeah.
okay, interesting. Well, first of all,
Mark Rainhagen appears and punches you.
Well, it's more rewrites at least.
Just sweat
so
drizzling down me.
that's okay. So now, so if you botch that, so 2 things happen. Okay, first of all, I'm going to give you a condition as your botch. So I'm going to give you a rank 1 condition, if you put it down on your sheet somewhere, which is simply heat stroke.
Excellent.
Okay, and so that's going to be a complication that'll affect pretty much everything until you manage to resolve that somehow. But most importantly, because you botched, you get 2 extra rewrites.
And what is the heat stroke condition's value as a
Oh,
complication?
1. Just 1.
Excellent.
Dumb question. Is there any reason to invoke enhancement on a roll with difficulty 1?
Yes, because you get extra. You can buy stunts with extra successes, or you can even apply them to sometimes to further rolls, depending on what the roll is.
Exactly right. There's always something that you can do with extra successes. We're just going to sort of keep it simple with this particular role. But yeah, basically oftentimes there's stunts you can do. And when we get into proper rolling, we'll deal with those as well. But they're a really cool thing that most Story Path games have. So as you are making your way along as well, you also notice that there is a strange sight. There's a sort of a crossroads, and there is a tree, and hanging from the tree, you can see that there are 12 mismatched swords of all things. They're just strung up among the branches like a strange wind chime almost, glinting in the sunlight. Looks very, 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 very odd. Do we have any sages amongst us, or anybody who is, rather skilled in mysticism?
I look with my special eyes.
To wake up the dragon, but yeah.
Lindwing, faithful companion, sit upon my mechanical riding sheep that I built in the Eastlands for that time we had to infiltrate a group of rogue sheep that had been empowered by the war-galled Testicles. You would have been the perfect aid to be here. And you're like, I'm not dead. And I'm like, I have a penchant for the dramatic.
That's great.
I'm just saying things. I'm sorry. I don't know how this game works.
That's okay. That's perfect.
That's
That's
it works. Yeah.
Okay.
It works. That's exactly how it works, right? So, can both of you then actually please give me a mysticism and, normally it's intellect, but one thing to note: whenever I offer you a roll, ask you to make a roll, and I will list a skill and an attribute to use. You can definitely sort of argue that and potentially make a case for a different attribute if you feel that your character would, sort of approach that rather differently. So, but by default, I'll say it's mysticism and intellect.
We are a band on the move. I apply my cunning. We don't have time to slow down and continue this.
That is more than acceptable. Yeah.
All right. Ooh. I actually got.
I got 2 successes. Yeah.
I got 2 10s, so that's 4.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the difficulty for this was only 1. And so what I'm going to say is, if you like, you can use those extra successes to basically get an enhancement on any sort of future mysticism intellect rolls that relate to this particular adventure. We'll say like just the next one, basically. Like you just
Okay.
your recall for mystic things is just particularly on point today. So that'll be a +3 enhancement actually on your next mysticism roll, whatever that may be.
Okay.
But what you most importantly, what you both learn and determine is that this is a bad omen. This is essentially the gods telling you that you should not be doing this. This is a warning. In fact, with that many successes, I will tell you, you think that this is very specifically a warning from Ares, implying this is not here by accident. So, yeah, you can mention to your companions anything you like about that.
That would be
Wintwing,
good if
as you lay in my arms, what do you see with your dragon sight?
well, this is a warning from the war god that you don't believe in, so to not proceed further.
Okay, but you saw it, so it's technically a warning only to you. So the rest of us are fine.
So question. So if it's a warning, and there's like there's clearly a certain number of swords. If one of those swords was taken down, would that change the warning?
Like the way
sorry.
Swan is fond of rewriting the price on menus to get cheaper food. You are wise, Shalnar.
Well, if you need a sword, I guess it's hanging up. It's technically free, maybe giving it back. Maybe the war god lost it and you need to give it back. Maybe that's the bad omen.
If they're free, I'll take 3.
Right.
Or 7.
So we cut to you moving on, but now you've got 3 extra swords strapped to your back, right? That's
Auspicious.
fantastic.
Do you still have any of the children?
No,
Okay.
I would not have let the children leave town with me.
A sword for
Okay.
everyone.
Splendid.
I like as you just go up and there's 2 swords in your belt and 2 swords in your hand, and then it goes further and there's 4 swords in the hands of 2 children.
It's swords all the way down.
The way down.
So we cut to you riding north further on, and we cut to there's an obvious change where it's like, clearly you're outdoors, probably just in New Zealand, but then it cuts to what is very clearly a set, which shows a crossroad. And you can see that you come upon a wandering merchant who is traveling in the opposite direction back to the festival, clearly on the way to play his wares. So he is an elderly chap with a huge bulbous nose, and his pale skin is sunburnt from all the oppressive heat as well. He's got gray, wispy hair like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. And he's got a motley outfit on, which is just a whole manner of, bits and bobs and straps of material and so forth. And he does this thing where as he sees you approaching, he sort of goes to cut you off and basically makes his donkey do a little bit of a, Blues Brothers style sort of swing park to kind of block the road off. But as he does that, the back of his wagon just kind of pops open, and you can see that he has all his wares, which looks to be trinkets. So he's a purveyor of odds and ends and artifacts and trinkets and things like that. And he just interrupts you, holds his hand up and says, "Hello there, leaving the festival so soon?"
Hi there, how you doing?
"My name's Pete, and I have got wares for sale."
I'll give you this sword for a wineskin full of water.
He says, "Water I certainly have." And he starts to, sort of fumble through his pack basically and gives you he accepts the sword gratefully and then, gives you the wineskin full of water.
I just kind of toss it in his direction, hopefully without impaling him, and
Sure.
just drain that wineskin and throw it
He
to the
says-
ground and shout, "Another!"
As you get close, you can see that there is a shaggy brown long-eared dog that is just kind of sitting there on the seat next to him, looking up at you with sort of unusually intelligent eyes. And he says, "You wouldn't be chasing that fellow that went further north, would you?"
It's a
One with the
puppy.
sequin toga? Yeah, that one.
"Oh, like a bat out of Hades he went."
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
"I don't like this at all," says the dog.
Oh, sorry.
"That's uncomfortable."
My deepest apologies, sir, ma'am. You, Fido, get back on my horse. While I'm over there petting the dog, do I perhaps see another water skin somewhere that might be in reach?
Yeah, almost certainly, yes. It's a hot day.
Yeah, I would like to avail myself of that water skin if I could, please, through dubious means.
Great, thank you. So he says, listen, I'll make you a deal. If you buy some of my wares, I'll tell you a very interesting fact that I noticed about that fellow flying north. I'll even give you directions to where he's going.
I already bought some of your wares. I bought that water skin.
Let's say one more thing.
I happen to be in need of some mechanical components for the latest thing I am designing. Do you have any snail toes?
Okay, good. So he snail toes,
worm wing, women's beards, standard mechanical wares. I need a stone that's kind of round but not too round. They're very valuable in the ancient world from what I understand.
Splendid. Okay, so we'll say that he definitely has that, and he gives that to you. And if you pay him for those items, then he can obviously.
Do you take swords?
Apparently, I do. So you can definitely give him a sword. So
I guarantee you, these aren't cursed by any god I believe in.
He says, now, as it so happens, that man that was running faster than a bat out of Hades had winged shoes. The shoes seemed to be carrying him. He was less running and more being, I suppose, dragged along by his flying footwear. I just happen to have a pair myself if you're looking to keep pace with him. What do you say? And he pulls out a pair of shoes that very clearly are just regular sandals that have got a couple of pigeon feathers just kind of glued to the side of them. They don't look particularly magical at all. But
be careful with those. I had a mishap in marathon once.
Those won't fit. And he points to his huge feet.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Can we give them a try? Callisto, do you think this is within your ken?
I'm like looking between Glintwing and the shoes and Glintwing and the shoes. And I'm like, oh, yes, I will try these.
It definitely won't fit me.
But they're wings. Yeah.
I would make a
put
joke
them
about
on.
the god Nike, but that's actually a thing. So that doesn't really even work.
God Adidas.
That's amazing. So you pay for the flying shoes?
Well, I've been enjoying the festival, and we're here on official festival business to save it. So I think that maybe this is something that should be commandeered for the good of the town.
Okay. You can give me an influence roll. So you can use, I think, persuasion and either presence or manipulation, whichever you feel is more fitting for your character.
Some manipulation. 6.
I'll say it's difficulty 2, just so you're aware.
Okay. I got a 9, a 10, and a 1.
Nice.
The ones don't matter unless you have no material successes.
Okay.
Exactly right. But if you get no material successes and at least one, then it's a botch. But no, not the case here. That's 3 successes, 1 more than you need. And so, yeah, you can keep that one. We'll say also, if you like, that not only do you convince him, but you've charmed him. He's quite fond of you. And considering your character, the dreamer, that's very much on brand. So he says, oh, all right, there you go. Take those shoes for free. I suppose I should be honest with you and say they're not exactly magical, but they are very nice looking.
They won't allow me to fly?
Not as such, no.
Or even run as fast as...
Oh, look at the time. I really must be off. The festival awaits. Best of luck finding that chap. Well done.
How many water skins could I have stolen during this conversation?
We'll say all of them, and there's 3.
Excellent.
Great. And, that's no roll required. So
Is that enough to get rid of my heat stroke?
I will say that that's enough to resolve that condition. I think like 6 liters of water is probably enough. So that's fantastic. So we cut to him trailing on south, and then of course it's back outdoors and off the set, and you're making your way to Dimethos. When you get to Dimethos is a beautiful ancient Greek village. Really, it's a model of one done in an area of New Zealand, which is very much like Hobbiton, that kind of rural farmland type area. So if you picture the Shire, but with sort of, ancient Greek style farm housing and such instead, that's pretty much where we are. So
it's like hobbit holes, but with pillars in front of the doors.
Exactly right. That's it. That's perfect. So now it is actually a very large village. So there's about almost close to 20 or so houses. So, and they're all spread out, because it's rural. And so that's, most of them are attached to farms and such. So you're just like, how long is this going to take to find this fellow if he's gone into one of his homes, if this is his home village? But so as you approach, you're kind of weighing up and looking for any signs of activity, and you can see that there is a very disgruntled, heavily pregnant woman who is glaring at what appears to be a smashed fence, and she has a vegetable garden that she has clearly been working on. She has a farming implement in her hand. She's drenched with sweat and she's leaning on it, other hand on her pregnant belly, and just kind of like glowering at the ground. And you can see very much that there is this line of I guess kind of like footprints, but really more just ripped up scrapes. So you strongly suspect that he has run right through her fence, through her vegetable garden, and onwards to somewhere else.
After you.
I go up to this woman and using my quip, I say, "Hi, what's your name?"
So she is played by Tina Fey, and with done up with with gray in her hair and such to make her look a bit older. And she's like, "Nope, I don't want none of it. Nope, this is some nonsense. She looks at you all and says, "This is some absolute quest nonsense. This is some questing bullshit. I don't want any part of it. Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not." And just turns and starts to waddle away.
I get it.
Can I help you fix your fence?
No. So yeah, she's like, "No, I can see right away. You're heroes. You're obviously on some sort of quest. That man with the winged bloody shoes. No, it's all magical gods meddling nonsense. I don't want any part of it. Absolutely sod off."
Did that man do that to you? And I kind of rub my belly.
So you can once again give me a persuasion roll to see if you can convince her to calm down and talk.
All right, I will use my composure with persuasion this time.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, because you're a bit flustered. It's just kind of keeping it cool. Try to have your calming presence calm her down, etc.
I do a really great job with 1.
With 1, that's okay. That is sufficient. So she just kind of
no, not 1 success, 0 successes with
0.
a 1.
All right.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Rewrite.
Well, so that's
use the rewrite. Rewrite allows rerolls.
You can actually. You have a lot of rewrites.
Yeah, we have 9 rewrites.
Yeah.
We own this town if we want.
That's
Would
true.
you like, Callisto? Would you like to throw some extra dice in there? 1 per rewrite. How many would you like to spend? It's up to whatever the group and you decide on that you would like to spend. You can do.
Can I spend 2 to even out the botch that Travis got?
I'm fine with that if you want.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
2.
Get in there.
Great. Do it.
That is a 10.
Oh, splendid. Okay. So thank you. We now have 7 rewrites, and she takes a big breath and just kind of rests on her farming implement and just sort of says, it's just been quite a morning already. Let me tell you that. So, all right, fine. So obviously it's him. It's Theodosis. I haven't seen him around these parts in ages. I don't know what he's doing home. He hasn't been back in his hometown in, I'd say months. But Anyway, he's at his home. His home is that one with the green roof. And she points, over in the corner. You can clearly see which house is his.
I'm guessing about 8 months, maybe 9.
She not that's absolutely any of your bloody business, but yes, 8 months.
Yeah.
Also, are you a minotaur?
Yes.
The
Weird.
midwives of the gods, be polite about it.
All right, you're all very weird. You can go away now. She just goes
Maybe
back
if
to
you're
the
surrounded
garden.
by weird people, it's you who are weird.
Bye, new friend.
she just ignores. She now ignores you. She gives a pleasant smile to Callisto and Callisto only, and then goes back to fixing, I should say, her vegetable patch. At this point, do you approach the house that she was pointing at?
Yeah, I say, all right, everybody, huddle up. I can get in there. If he's moving like super fast, let me sneak around the back. I'll go in a window, clock him on the back of the head, and we'll just drag him out, get those shoes off of him, because those seem to be causing the problem. And lickety split right back to the festival and back to Gwen. Gwen?
Wendy. I think it was Wendy.
Are you sure it wasn't Gwendy?
Gwendy, it may have been Gwendy. The names in this region are strange to our alien tongues. I have an additional thing I think we can use, a contrivance most wise to stun he who has been enchanted by the gods. They're a strange type of footwear I have found across the seas. They numb the wearer into a sense of dull complacency such that they may no longer move and are inclined towards food service. They are called Crocs.
Good.
So
Very
you want me
good.
to switch his shoes? I can do this.
I think we need to switch his shoes.
Is there a back door that I should stand in the way of so he can't get out?
There is, and yes, you can. Of course, you can.
Okay, I'll do that.
Great. So you're standing at the back door. Do the rest of you just go in the front? Are you sneaking in? What are you doing?
I was going to look for like a window to sneak into.
Yeah.
Crack my knuckles and my neck, my back, my knees.
Good. Very good.
Just really kind of making a show of it as I make my way over there. And I would like to try to sneak into the house. I would like to use my trademark, Never See Me Coming, with my larceny.
That is absolutely perfect. Yeah. You can most certainly do that.
I would like to rely upon my dexterity to guide me if that's at all plausible.
That is very plausible indeed. So larceny and dexterity. Absolutely do it.
All right. And so using the trademark gives me +2 dice, correct?
+2 dice. Sorry. Yes. Pardon me. Of course. We should highlight that as we're demoing. So
are trademarks declared? Is there a number of times you get to use that, John?
You use trademarks once a session, right?
Once per session each. And they are, as mentioned, +2 bonus dice.
And that's just dice. That's not an enhancement.
That is correct. Yes, correct. Exactly right. It's a bit unusual for Storypath. Normally, Storypath will have enhancement as opposed to bonus dice, but They Came From actually has a lot of situations where it's bonus dice instead. So that's something that's unique about it. Also, if this roll is successful, whenever you use your trademark, you actually get directorial control over the scene as well. And we'll talk about that if Travis is successful. How'd you go?
I got 2 successes.
Splendid. Okay, then. So the difficulty was 1, which means that you got 1 extra success. So for the purposes of your directorial control, because you used the trademark, that means that you get to add a narrative detail to the scene. So this can be anything at all that you like.
I would like... Do we want to make this easier or harder on ourselves?
Harder.
Be as dramatic as you want. We got lots of relights. Just go for it.
There's 5 of us. What could possibly go wrong?
I would like the first mate of the honor of the boat that I stole to be in this house for reasons that are left entirely to you. Why she's here, who knows? But last time we saw each other was real awkward. However, because I'm sneaking, she's probably not going to see me.
Okay. So can you describe her?
Oh yeah. She's probably, we'll say like, I'm thinking like 50s, but athletic. We're Lucy Lawless in The Evil Dead season 2, not Lucy Lawless in Xena.
That's great. That's fine. I'm gonna have to recast an NPC now, or do I? I don't even know if I do. I think we could just have Lucy Lawless play multiple people. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I love it. Yeah. So she's sitting there with her arms crossed, looking at him, and he is exhausted on the couch, and his feet are scraped and are blistering, and he has winged boots on, and the wings are flapping and flapping away, and he is just exhausted. He's drenched in sweat, and he's lying there on the couch. So Theodosis is played by Reggie Jean Page, a unreasonably handsome man who is the Duke from Bridgerton. If any of you have seen Bridgerton on Netflix, a black British actor, young fellow. He's now going to be in the D&D movie actually as the Paladin, which I'm strangely optimistic about for a D&D movie, but whatever. Anywho, so he's just there, exhausted on the couch. Clearly the boots did most of the work, but for whatever reason, it still, took their toll on him. And so she, Travis, this person is glaring at him saying, for the last time, you don't live here anymore. You have not been here in months. And so now this is my house. Would you please get out of my house? And he just sort of like, yes, sorry, I just need a moment to rest. I didn't mean to be here. So what do you do?
I will so she's sitting, he's laying on a couch, he is conscious, she is aware.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to steer into the skid and just be like, what was his name? What was your name again? Theodosis. I've come to bring you back to the... Oh, hey, Meg, what are you doing here?
Her name's Mag. Okay.
Meg, sure.
She says, oh, fantastic. It's you.
I've just come to collect this fellow and take him back to where he's supposed to be. These naughty shoes of his, and I try to pull the shoes off of his feet if I can.
It just puts a hand on your shoulder and says, give me one reason why I shouldn't collect your head instead.
I can give you two. I hold the shoes up.
The shoes?
That I pulled off. I'm trying to pull the shoes off of his feet.
Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? That works. If you take the shoes off, it seems like they've served their purpose basically, and so they're not like, they stop flapping as you pull them off his feet, and you give them to her, and she just like takes them and looks at them and says, "Okay, for now, this will do. Get out of my house, though."
Oh, sure thing.
She's talking to him as much as you, obviously. So you lead him out, and he just kind of. Oh, he's happy to be let out, basically. He also is dressed, by the way, in a blue spangly sort of sequin ancient Greek, but also a trapeze artist mishmash costume on. Of course, one that shows off his pectorals and abs as well, because that's the vibe of this movie, obviously.
Sure. As we're walking out, I'll have him kind of his hand over my shoulder, and I'll just be like, "Hey, listen, if anybody knows about running away from commitments, it's me, okay? But I think it's just important that we get you back in time for this show, because there's a lot of people counting on you, and if you want to run off and make time with my ex, which we'll talk about afterward as well, that's fine too, but wait till after the show."
Okay, that's good. So he just says, "Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course I'll come back. Of course I come back. I just had some," and he wanders out, and you're all there, of course, and he says, "And I just, oh goodness," and like he looks at, Shalnar and Glintwing in particular, and says, what an unusual group. Are you from the festival, are you?"
Yes, we are. is his like you said his feet were kind of messed up and stuff? Or is he walking okay, or is he?
He is walking okay. He's limping a little bit, to be honest. His legs are a bit.
You look a little like you got a limp there. Let me take a look at that. Let me see if I can help you out.
He says, thank you, very much appreciated, of course. And he just sort of offers his feet to you. Do you have any sort of medicine? Or?
I do, yes.
Oh, great. So, I mean, I imagine it's medicine and whichever attribute you can justify, to be honest. I can see a case for, just intellect or even dexterity to, wrap bandages well. Completely up to you.
I mean, yeah, I'm good with just standard intellect.
Great. That's perfect.
And while he's working on that, I am going to kind of be nervously eyeing that door and just be like, any chance we can do this while we're moving?
All right, I just rolled, I just rolled 7 dice and got 1 success, so I'm going to be putting these dice away and picking up new ones.
Wow, that's okay. 1 success is all you need. 1 success is all you need. You fix him up enough so that he can walk comfortably, but honestly, someone's going to want to share a horse with him anyway. So he actually looks a bit kind of nervous, and he says, "Oh yes, no, I just got stage fright. All those people looking at me and such. I'm over it now. Let's get back."
Are winged footwear standard out in these parts?
He says, we use a bit of magic in our act, and so maybe something went a little bit awry. A magical mishap. You know how these things are. I'm sorry, are you a dragon?
Maybe.
Wow. He's just staring in wonder at you.
Luke Wilson.
Yeah. Wow. What? Gosh. What? Wow.
You really shouldn't just comment. You can't just go around asking people if they're a dragon.
You can't just. Yeah. Oh my God.
Glintwing kind of curls up a little bit.
That's
taller.
our word.
Yeah, you just sort of puff
little,
yep.
Puff up with the fluttering of a wing.
That's fantastic.
Anybody?
Flitter. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, anybody that wants to can give me an empathy and cunning or composure roll. Sort of the equivalent of a sense motive to see if he's not sharing everything or if he's maybe not being 100% honest.
Yeah, I can roll that.
Great, do it. Lovely.
I got 1 success.
Mm-hmm.
I botched.
As a performer, I want you to know that everything I have is big, including my heart. Don't you dare break it.
Okay, so you botched, Shalnar?
Yes. No, I botched. Mechadoshus.
Oh, sorry, Jay.
Botched.
Okay, so what I'm going to say as a result of that botch is that he very much notices you kind of eyeing him up and down and trying to
holding the Crocs.
Yeah, the fact that you're examining him for truth telling is very obvious, and so now he has shifted his attitude towards you to the negative. So he sort of gives you a bit of a side eye. But let's see how well Callisto does. Let's see if she can.
I got 5 successes.
Wow!
All right.
I think it'd be a good time for a stunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually utterly amazing. So what's funny is actually that's perfect. That is gonna, because the difficulty to, okay, so first of all, for a fact that he's hiding something and he's holding it back. I'm going to say though that with that number of successes, you can also use that as an influence on him to basically spill the beans, to tell you the whole truth, which according to the adventure is actually difficulty 4. It's almost impossible to convince him to just spill and tell you the entire situation at this point in the adventure. But with a success rating like that, I will definitely let you do that if that's what you'd like to do.
Absolutely. I am up and down, and then I just give him the look of out with it. Just out with it.
And it's just your calming nature. You just causes him to just kind of break down and just say, "Oh, all right. Obviously the boots aren't part of the act. I suppose I should just tell you everything. We're cursed, you see. We were great followers of Aphrodite, and our love was pure, and we were reasonably good acrobats, and we had some skill, but we beseeched Aphrodite for a blessing to make us more compelling, to make us more beautiful and more skilled and talented. And it worked. She was merciful and did so. And we traveled the land and we did our performance. And well, it all went wrong when we made a particular performance at the village of, and he looks off screen for the line reading.
Line?
I'm sorry, line. Yeah, it's like they forgot to cut it from the final edit of the movie, so it's like this sort of line.
Or the hand just goes in front of the mouth and they cough it.
Yeah, exactly.
The village of
It's like bad dubbing. So it's like, so Erythini was a village that was more or less at war with itself. It was a village where great conflict was, and it was favored of Ares. We did a show there. It was a show like any other. It was splendid because it was us, obviously. But the problem was that Ares liked that particular village being at war. He would use it to experiment with some of his newer weapons and such. It was something of a pet project of his. And so when we brought peace to that village with our wonderful performance, and that's actually where we got our name, the Peacebringers, we then went around declaring ourselves as those that can bring peace. That really annoyed Ares. And well, let's just say that we also maybe have referred to ourselves as greater performers than anyone, even the gods. And so that also annoyed Apollo. And so let's just say that we managed to, and also, if I'm being really honest, we also, with all of our success and wealth and fame, we may have neglected our worshipping and our temple visits to Aphrodite. So we've angered 3 gods and they've cursed us. Basically, whenever we come together, some magical or otherwise fateful contrivance will rip us apart. Apparently, the curse can only be broken by us performing 3 trials. But the problem is that, well, first of all, they're apparently impossible, and neither of us have been able to get together for long enough to even attempt the trials.
Are they impossible, or the power of friendship impossible?
He says, wait a minute. You look like a merry band of heroes. Perhaps you could do the trials for us and help break this curse.
Well, looks can be deceiving, friend. Which is
you have a little minotaur. Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's an awesome quip. So you get +1 on your next dice roll, whatever that may be. Yeah. But you have an actual dragon and a minotaur.
Well, why fear a dragon when your head's already in a noose? That's another quip.
Wait, what?
Why fear a dragon when your head's already in a noose?
Why fear a dragon? Okay, got it. I just thought you had a small stroke right there. And it's just like, oh no, we finally lost Travis. There goes our next name.
There we go.
My pathway is clear. I mean, oh no.
He falls to his knees and beseeches you. He says, please, oh mighty heroes, will you please take the trials for us and solve our problem?
And I know this day would come. Not that we would save a village, nor these 2 lovers, but an opportunity to show that the gods are absolute dickbags.
They don't exist.
I feel from the... I mean, they're not actual gods. They're just kind of people with better costumes than us, and I think they have access to the craft services table, and that's why the skin is always so much nicer than that.
While they're actively dealing out curses, might not be the best time for that observation.
No! When they're dealing out curses is the best time. They'd never expect anyone.
Okay.
You'll really show them if you break the curse, then That'll show them, won't it?
What?
Hey,
What?
Get to prove that they're wrong. That's your favorite thing, Theodosis.
that
I
one,
love
that one.
doing that. I haven't done it successfully yet, but I
Listen to the
assume that
tiny
when I
adorable
do,
dragon.
it'll be very satisfying.
So what are
Exceptionally
these
satisfying.
trials?
Oh, that's would have been a better question to say before. Yes, you're so wise.
He says, I actually don't know what they are, but I know where they are. So I'll take you to the first one. Shall we?
Wait, they're tied to a place?
Yes.
There's a sign that says trials be here.
No. The gods imprinted us, of course, at the moment of the curse with the means by which we could break it, including the location that we must go. I can find it with my eyes closed. I'm sort of supernaturally aware of where the trial locations are to take place. I'll take you to them, and you can do the trials. Simple.
Listen,
Let's be off.
Are we gonna need
It's
your-
better than a tattoo of the location.
Yeah,
That's true. Are we in? Do we need your partner? Do we need to go get her? Is that
No,
a
not at
thing?
all. In fact, that's the problem. We can't come together for long enough before the magic tears us apart. So it really, you'll have to go with only one of us.
I recommend some
great-
counseling for that. That'll probably help.
That is a great trick there.
That's great.
Like you,
You
can
you
have
have to do the
someone else
trials.
Break
Yeah.
your curse for you.
I mean,
Yes, champions.
see, here's the thing, but they're working together because she sent us to him.
So we're kind
they
of
can't-
proxies.
they can't complete the trials together because they're cursed to be split apart. So
Yes,
they
it's-
need
it's-
someone to complete the trials for them in order for them to complete it together.
No, hear me out. It's called dramatic irony. The gods are big on this.
I prefer champions rather than proxies, but you have the right idea. I say, let's be off.
Well, I've never
Of
been a
course.
champion anything before, so I suppose I can make that work.
What?
Yeah.
You did have several warrants out for yourself in the
Swan.
east.
Champion. All those were misunderstandings.
Yes.
But,
And
but
some
like
misunderstandings came with them.
three villages ago, I could have heard someone shouting "champion" from your room.
Great.
That kind of B movie.
Deary me. So we cut to him leading you to the location of the first trial. Unless there's anything you wanted to say before we do that.
No, but just a quick temperature check. Do we want to take a quick 5-minute step away break at this point
Yes.
before we hop in? All right, cool.
can do that,
Everyone
sure.
who's watching us live, this is the perfect opportunity, if you have not yet done so, to run over to the Kickstarter and support They Came from the Cyclops' Cave and or They Came from Classified. You can back for one, you can back for both. There's a beautiful trailer over there that I may have had something to do with making. And in fact, we'll be gone about as long as the trailer's going to run. So why don't you all go ahead and take a look at that. We will be back momentarily.
Can I insert a commercial first?
Absolutely. Yeah, by all means.
I just like the idea that the most 80s commercial I could think of would be a Mentos commercial. So the Mentos theme is going dun dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun, and it's Reagan on
Yeah.
the phone with the Nicaraguan rebels. And he's just like he's the arms are going, and then it shows a guy holding and then it shows Oliver North with budget and the word and zero, and it's circled, and he's just like, I just don't have any money to get you. And then he takes the Mento and he does the little hand motion, and he calls Iran and sells them billions of dollars of weapons that he will ultimately never be held personally responsible for in defiance of reasonable law. And it shows the Sandinistas receiving the shipments of weapons, and Reagan is waving out of the plane, and it goes, Mentos, the fresh maker. That was a
Wow.
reference to the Iran-Contra scandal.
That sounds... yes.
we got there. We got you.
Later on, we see a similar commercial, except to sell guns for the drug lords, and
Right.
Yeah. This could be a series that I wish couldn't exist, but could. Anyway,
On that bright, shiny
get some
note,
Diet Pepsi.
We will
Wow.
be back momentarily. Until then, please stick around, and we will see you very, very soon.
the latest Onyx Path double feature. They came from the Cyclops' cave, and they came from Classified.
New from Onyx Path Publishing. They came from the Cyclops' cave. Experience fantasy, epic, and magical. Recreate the covers of other beloved role-playing games. But play this one. Use magical effects to disappear. Revel. Gallop and explode. Have you ever turned a tree into a man? Have you ever tied someone to a pillar while barbecuing a hand?
No, please stop. That's vile.
Play as fairies, giants, warriors, and wizards. But don't sleep through the action and the drama. Visit distant lands. Brush tiny people. Chart your own odyssey to faraway kingdoms. Grip your weapons like they've never been gripped before. They came from the Cyclops' cave, a game of cinematic fantasy inspired by all your favorite movies of fantasy cinema. New from Onyx Path Publishing, it's stylish. Ooh-yah! Oh, you wait till I get up, I'm gonna give you such a hiding, oh smacko! It's mysterious.
I say, this button wasn't here yesterday when I looked. What happens if I push it? Oh, luckily the bookcase only went and moved. I wonder what happens if I push a little further. What might I find behind? Oh my, it's cheeky. Of course, sir, did you just see that silhouette we just emerged from? What? Oh yes, of course.
It's deadly. It's risky.
Very well rolled, sir, but you need to stop making that gesture. Yes, that one. The locals don't like it. It doesn't mean what you think.
It's exotic. It's villainous.
Yes, sculptures are villainous.
What does this note even say? It's too dark to read it. What if I put it in the bug tank? No, still no luck. It's cloak and dagger. Oh, my lower back, not again. Oh, Zappo! This is for selling secrets to the enemy, you bloody bastard! Oh, it's super scientific.
Oh no, not the doomsday device. These goggles are no help at all. At least leave the door open so we can escape.
I don't think I will. It's classified. They came from classified. They came from Classified, a game of cinematic espionage inspired by all your favorite spy movies and TV shows.
That's the story of how I saved the Pope from near certain death.
Good, very good.
We are, thank you all so much for being here. We have returned. Hope you enjoyed the trailer, or maybe even went and backed They Came from the Cyclops' Cave while we were away. So now that we have returned, I'm going to go ahead and throw that link back in the chat, just in case there's any new joiners. And then I'll shut my mouth and let Tom do his business.
Okay, so when last we left our intrepid heroes, they were making their way across to the location of the first trial. Now, this is a cave nearby. And so as your companion takes you there, you can see that you've got Theodosis is now mostly recovered. His feet are mostly healed and such. And so as you come up to basically like a little cavern area with a big ominous looking cave. And then on the way though, as you are reaching the cave, you can see, actually, first of all, you hear, the jingling of bells. And then turning around, you look and see that there is a little satyr, a little chubby satyr who is sitting there leering at you while munching an apple. And as he looks upon you and grins mischievously, you can see he looks in particular at Theodosis and says, new marks, eh, Theodosis? Don't you ever get tired of running this scam? And so he just sort of glares down at the satyr and says, go away. We are actually going to be doing the trials now, so just bugger off. You know he's lying to you, right?
Of course we know he's lying to it.
I turn to the satyr. I say, hi, what's your name?
My name's Yorgos. Yorgos the Satyr. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. You're riding with a liar.
This is actually something that I'm aware of, but you can give us more details if you'd like.
It's a scam. He does this whole thing, causes magical effects to drag him away from a festival, and then convinces people, heroes and such, to bring him back, so then they get rewarded for it, and then he steals that reward.
Oh yeah, and so how long has he been running this scam exactly? And while he's talking, I'm looking for tells. I'm looking to see if he's
Yeah, give me a roll for sure.
How about cunning and empathy? Does that work?
That sounds perfect to me.
And I think I still have a +1 from my previous quip, right?
You do. Yes, exactly right. Exactly right.
And that is enhancement, or is that is extra dice with quip?
No, it's actually it's a bonus dice.
Excellent.
Lintwing, if this satire is correct, we could lose the man by the name of Rich that we were promised.
That's 3 successes.
Yeah, so the satyr is the one that's lying. He is utterly lying. And with 3 successes, I'll give you the fact that he's deliberately here to interfere with you. You think that he has some stake in not having these trials accomplished. So maybe like whoever sent him, the gods themselves maybe, or basically just sent him here to be an interference.
And what were you going to say, Alexis? Oh,
I think that was Kim responding. Was that?
Oh, it was like, I don't see a liar here. I only see a dude.
Wait, Satire Man, do you have a lyre? Are you gonna play some? Do you play music?
Drop some tunes.
I'm gonna walk over and flick him in one of his horns.
He doesn't want to flick him. Okay, great.
Tell us the truth, you little snot.
So he just goes, ow, and disappears in a puff of smoke.
That's what I thought.
There's like this weird special effect. Like there's this purple smoke that just kind of like.
I turn to Callisto and I say, you see, you have to be firm with these fantastical creatures. I mean, yeah, present company excluded, because they can be very shifty.
I see. Okay.
Don't group us into that.
I wasn't. That's why I said present company excluded. You're
not all fantastical creatures.
Listen, it's all fantastical creatures until it's no fantastical creatures.
They were just creatures, right?
That's great. So you make your way into the cave now. So Theodosis is going to remain outside. He's not going to come in with you. He just sort of sits there with his arms crossed saying, best of luck. I know you'll succeed.
Theodosis, do you have any idea of what to expect in this cave?
I know that this is the trial of Apollo. But other than that, no. Sorry. I'm not really useful.
Played polo.
What do I know about Apollo with my mysticism of 1?
with your mysticism of 1. Who has a higher mysticism? So he's the god of the sun, and also is very much for performing and other things like that. But yeah, mostly known as the sun god. So
but
as
archery and lyres and stuff like that. Yeah, he's also music.
Music, yeah. Music and performance as well. So with them saying that they're better performers than the gods, he would have been personally offended.
So I'm not big on this human stuff that y'all are in. But if he's a god of the sun, why are we going into a dark cave?
That's an excellent question.
He's also the god of internal inconsistency.
As you enter the gods of internal inconsistency.
That's amazing. As you enter the cavern is dark, vast, and rocky. There is this musty kind of wet smell emanating throughout. The ceilings are very, very high with little light coming from them. Of course, it's a big set, so it's more well lit than it should be. However, there is a single hole in the ceiling that descends all the way down, like a beautiful sunbeam, rather near the entrance of the cave that you walk into. Now, there's a cavern, kind of like a chasm as soon as you go in, maybe about perhaps past the sunbeam, maybe like about 30 feet further on. There are 4 separate rock bridges over a dark pit leading to something on the other side.
Well, you got them shoes still?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking. I'm actually gonna ask Kalisa. You got them shoes you bought from the?
Yeah,
merchant?
these pieces of junk. Yeah, I do have them still.
Pieces of junk. Let me see those. I'm gonna bang them together real quick. Brush some dust off of them. And if the group is all right with it, spend 2 rewrites to use Hand of Fate to turn them into a magical item. Be like, that guy wasn't lying to you, he was just dumb. Here, these are going to help you jump across that chasm.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Are we good with that?
Well, I mean, if you use it as a magical effect, it adds +1 scale.
No, right, but I'm not using it as a magical effect. I'm just using the core rewrite of it because I can't do magic.
Okay. Got it. So you're going to get
+3
enhancement.
Which would be hilarious.
Yeah, but it's
just become a giant shoe.
That's great. So you're going to spend the 3 rewrites to do that?
Yep, that brings us down to
it's 2 rewrites, right? 5. It's 2
5
rewrites, right?
Yeah,
Hand of Fate, you said?
Yeah. Sorry, yep. Yep, so that brings us to 5. And yeah, I'll hand it to you. It'll give you a +3 enhancement. The skill, I guess we would say athletics, right?
Yeah.
That's what we would aim it for?
Can I use, yeah, okay. I immediately put them on. Yes.
Great. Done and done. And they're great. They fit perfectly and they allow you to actually even hover off the ground a little bit.
We can race to the next bridge.
That's very true. So do you want to investigate around on this side of the bridge and the sunbeam and such, or do you want to just approach one of the bridges or have a look at the bridges and such?
I would like to investigate.
Great,
yeah.
Good. Do it come from the air, maybe.
I get to the edge, and while they're investigating, I just count 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Artemis, take the wheel.
That is absolutely amazing. I love that so much. Okay, great. So you want to try to shoot across the bridge basically to see what's on the other side? Okay, fantastic. As you do so, 2 things happen. First of all, suddenly and without any noise or pomp or fare, you turn around and you realize, well, those that are further back realize that the entrance has been completely sealed up. There is no longer a cave entrance whatsoever. The only light now is coming from the ceiling. Also, from the pit, fire starts to erupt and starts to slowly swell and grow and grow. The raging fire, basically like the pit just gets more and more and more, like the flames lick up the side of it. And it looks as though it is encroaching. And within, maybe a couple of minutes is just going to, if it continues like this, is going to rage such that it will incinerate all of you in this like an oven.
Well, it is very fortunate that I am a trap master, and I would like to use that trope, please. When you find yourself in a fiendish trap, you may roll enigmas plus cunning with difficulty depending on the quality of the trap. For each success, one narrative or mechanical aspect of the trap goes awry.
Interesting. Okay, you can definitely do that. Give me that roll.
Excellent. Now, trademarks, you can use each one once per story.
Yes, correct.
Excellent. My cunning trademark, I kid you not, wasn't that a trap? So let's use that.
That's great. Awesome. Do it.
Excellent. So we have cunning, which is 4, enigmas, which is 2. I get 2 extra dice for the trademark. That's 2, 3 successes on that? Yeah, 3 successes on that.
Okay, well, so this is a God-created trap.
That is
so this
true.
is actually difficulty 4, not quite a 5, but
would I be able to persuade the group to let me pull 3 of our rewrites for extra dice?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome.
I feel like becoming barbecue kind of outweighs the rewrite, maybe.
That's 1 more success. Got us to 4.
That's great. Now, sorry, just to get my head straight, how many rewrites did you spend on that one?
Oh, that was 3 more rewrites. So we have 2 rewrites left. It was
Okay,
very
thank you so much.
expensive,
No.
but we hit it.
No, hey, that's good. That's good. That's good. So although it's completely magical, what we'll say is that maybe because Apollo wasn't really thinking that this trial would be taken anytime soon, that the fire just doesn't swell any further. I mean, you'll still have to sort of solve this trial to overcome it and to, more importantly, to get out again, but you're actually in no danger now of getting incinerated. So that's great. That's great news indeed. Callisto, as you are shooting across the bridge, you get to the other side and you can see, as it happens though, an ominous voice rings throughout the cavern. And it says, if passing my trial is your desire, you must extinguish the creeping fire. Hurry now and do it soon. Please play for us our favorite tune. But if you play it out of turn, you're much more likely to get burned. And
spoon.
Indeed.
You call that a clue?
At the Callisto is the first to see that at the end of each bridge, there's a large carving on the wall in the shape of 4 musicians. Clutched in their hands that extend out from the wall, there are instruments, real ones, they're not made of stone. However, the instruments appear to be immovable. They're just, grasped in the stone and sort of trapped there. Etched into the wall high above, you can see the carvings there. There is the quote that says, "There is no music without light." And each musician also has a large gem placed somewhere on their body set into the stone. And lastly, each carving also has an arc that spreads over it in a semicircle, starting at one shoulder and ending at the other. And each one has a small sun somewhere on this arc in different locations. So if the suns were a clock, it'd be like 9, 11, 1, and 3 o'clock. Does that make sense?
It does.
Also, those that have not crossed the bridges yet can give me an anyone can give me an investigation check. In this particular case, it'll be enigmas, and I will say either maybe cunning or intellect.
I'm a look.
Whoever's good at looking at things.
I've gotten 4 successes.
Wow.
I
Okay.
got 2, but I have no enigma. That was just right out off of straight cunning.
Are you
Okay.
allowed to do that in this system? Can you just like Hulk your way through rolls like that?
As far as I know. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So you,
I don't know.
Hope so.
So, Mr. Four Successes, you see that against the wall of the cavern, hidden and disguised so as to be almost imperceptible, but not to you, you can see that there is a dusty mirror. And with that, with the enigmas also effectively, counting as problem solving, if Callisto, do you shout out across at your companions what you see on the other side?
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around what on earth this is all about. So I am describing it in great detail to my companions.
What do your human eyes see?
So if you are doing that, Callisto, then I will say definitely, Terry, that you, Mechadocus, that you gather that the idea is to unlock these instruments, you would take this mirror and you would deflect the sunbeam to one of the gems on each of the musicians to play the instruments, basically.
Yes.
And actually, with 4 successes, that's pretty great as well. To be honest with you. Now, in order to do this, of course, you'll need to, sort of do the sunbeam on, the instruments and such. And you probably want to do them in a specific order. But because you got 4 successes on your Enigmas roll, I'm definitely going to say that you know the order. Like, that's just a really, really great success. So you basically get the idea of the situation. It will, however, require somebody with a pretty good dexterity and aim to actually, target properly the mirror to deflect the sunbeam in the right way so as to actually unlock them all correctly.
I mean, maybe it's a good thing that the wind's at my back. And that's my trademark for dexterity.
Oh, awesome. Well, then do you want to go back across the bridge and be the one that actually deflects the sunbeam and aims it?
Sure.
Awesome.
Shalnar, normally I would ask you to lift this in your great, hulking, gorgeous minotaur arms and position it, but the gods are doing something amiss, so I'm going to ask someone far less interesting to hold it just in case it's cursed. And so, Callisto, just as we needed you, with your great hands and fleet feet, hold this mirror aloft and shine it upon the gems. For Apollo is also the god of unconvincing traps. And we have foiled him yet again. He has used what is known as union labor instead of the nymphs and the muses to compose it, and it was actually quite easy for our good friend Swan to allay the flames.
That's amazing. Now, of course, what you also realize is that each of you, so it works out perfectly because there's 5 of you. So one of you, Callisto, is going to be deflecting the sunbeam to unlock the instruments, and the other 4 of you are each, of course, going to have to play the musical instruments.
All right,
which is going to be
end.
Which one is first so that we can make sure that the instruments aren't trapped?
Yeah, so I will definitely say that with that Enigmas roll, you know exactly the correct, in chronological order, is one other small detail. You can see that carved above this symbol and iconography related to episodes of Apollo's life, which, obviously you can reveal in chronological order. There is one where Apollo is a child slaying the python snake. Apollo blesses the Oracle of Delphi with an insight of the future. Apollo flays the satyr Marsyas after beating him in a music competition. And then Apollo crying over the body of his dead lover, Hyacinth. So basically, once again, with that Enigmas roll, definitely, that is the chronological order in which to do it. And the instruments are going to be whatever the person playing them decides that they are and whatever they think would be most hilarious. And frankly, I'm delighted to hear how a minotaur and a small dragon puppet are going to be playing musical instruments and what those musical instruments are going to be. And if you describe them flavorfully, I will give you a rewrite or two.
Shalnar is going to head over to the one where Apollo was a child.
Okay.
And the musical instrument there is a
Bagpipes of Aphrodite.
is a series of small drums connected to each other and a little stick with a bomb to use as a drumstick.
That's awesome.
Got sheepskin and probably some padding in it on that head.
That's really cool. That's awesome. And who's next?
By all means, have the dragon. Let the dragon go ahead.
Well, it's like hands. How small? Well, actually, it'd be kind of funny. So the dragon will go up to the lyre, like little hovering, and then start strumming it with their tail.
Oh, that's great. So it's a lyre and you're doing like the tail strum.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. No, I love that. And who's next?
Do these have to be period appropriate at all?
No. If you want to have a keyboard guitar, you can have that. That's fine.
I was going to say I was going to say the theremin of Hephaestus. So it's just like but I think the guitar of Hephaestus is even better.
I was just whatever you can absolutely have that. It's a magical God created trap. That's fine.
Yeah. I also like the idea that we have to clearly like kick away the paper mache skeletons of those who obviously died from the flames attempting to do this.
Obviously. That's a great
and
detail.
that's the celebrity drop-in of the episode. Like each is a member of KISS or something somehow.
Right, they've got the burns on their face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that so much. That's
What were the last words? Here
Careful,
I
we're
was,
gonna have
rock
to pay
you like a
Gene Simmons
hurricane.
15 cents.
We've gotten pretty long in the movie. The budget has been cut back. It's War instead of Kiss.
Exactly.
It appears they were caught in the heat of the moment.
Okay, and finally, Travis.
I will run over and with a grand flourish, take the sort of small stick that has a little round knob at the end of it and just gently strike the triangle that is the fourth instrument.
Great. And it works. And it's perfect. And so with Callisto perfectly unlocking the gems in just the right sequence, you all playing those instruments exactly as instructed, the trial is passed. There is an earth. The ground shakes underneath your feet as the cavern opens once again. And because they don't really have the budget for anything more, it's just sort of a quick cut where it's, like the cavern was sealed in and then it cuts and that's it. It's an open cave again. The sunlight streams in. And as you make your way out of the cave, having successfully completed the trial, you can see that materializing in a beam of light in front of you, standing on a rocky outcropping on the side, clearly lit by a couple of spotlights on the set that this is on here. Billowing white robe drapes effortlessly about his shoulders, twisting around his body to only just cover his lower region. You can see a huge, burly, golden-haired Patrick Warburton, like just with a gigantic golden curly wig. I'm impressed. My brother told you of your audacity, but he claimed that you're a bunch of talentless fools. So you've passed that trial with ease. No fool could have done that.
That's a surprisingly good Patrick Warburton as done by an Aussie, which is almost as impressive as the fact that Peter Serafinowicz does a stunningly accurate Alan Alda.
Nice. Good. Thank you. You've completed my part of the trial. You're free to go.
Any chance you could spot us directions to the next bit?
Sure. Why not? He clicks his fingers and you're just right there, basically. So as he clicks his fingers, there's a flash of sunlight, and you are all of a sudden standing right at the location of the next trial. So you see that you are basically in a huge dusty canyon, and so this this part is probably very clearly filmed in California, right? Because it's got just you're just sort of surrounded by canyon country. What you've got there is an enormous sand pit, and the path, which you didn't even have to walk across because you convinced the god to teleport you, there seems to have been at one point a rope bridge that connected your path to the other side of this just, couple of 100 feet wide sand pit. But all that remains are just these broken shards of the bridge. And so Theodosis just kind of like steps forward and says, yes, this is, first of all, thank you. Great work in completing the first trial. I know that, and he sort of scratches his head and says, I know that this one's really easy. All you have to do is just get to the other side. Easy.
That's all.
That's all. Get to the other side of the sandpit.
Do we have any rope?
You can absolutely have some rope. There's also there is some rope attached to the remnants of this wooden bridge that would have. It was a rope bridge, that kind of goes across and then sort of sinks a bit into the sand of this pit. What do you do?
Do all of us have to get across, or just a few of us?
Okay, so he scratches his head and says, I believe that all of those who are competing in the trial have to get across. I also know that there's other strange restrictions, but they're not clear to me. I'm sorry, I'm not being much use.
What is there wording? Do we have to say something? Did they tell you? Did they say Klaatu, Barada, Niktu at some point to you? Because in my experience, that's kind of important. And I wink at the camera.
Yeah. He says, no, it is manifesting within my mind now. Clarity comes upon me. Yes, all five of you being my champions must get across to the other side.
Okay. So Glitwing, can you fly over there and with this rope and tie it to something over there?
Yeah. Give it a go.
Okay. Let's just in case it's a trap. I'll hold on to this end to be able to pull you back if something goes weird.
Yeah, okay. We'll do it.
Okay, splendid. So Glintwing, you pick up the rope in your little hands and you go to fly across the sand pit, basically.
And the cut is just the puppet being tossed like a ball across.
Yeah, it's just getting
tossed across the pit.
Oh,
with the rope.
Whee! With the rope, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Splendid. All right then. So you fly across and you do in fact get to the other side holding the rope. And so using this, that will allow you to do basically a bit of a sort of a repair check. So you can either try to use dexterity and athletics to get across the sand, or because you have the rope now, that's going to give a lot of enhancement to anybody that wants to try to kind of climb their way along. There's also the option, if you have the time, which you do, to try to repair the bridge. And the fact that you've got to the other side with the rope will give you an amazing amount of enhancement to basically, repair the bridge as well, if that's something you'd like to do.
Let's see. So Glintwing doesn't have any athletics, amazingly enough, but they do have larceny and they do have survival. So we're playing with rope, so either would apply.
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely say that larceny and survival can help to do bridge repair, so to speak.
So let's see. Since we have some time, I think probably because the larceny and survival are the same pool. Do that with intellect, and that'll.
Oh, by the way, I will tell you, I'm going to give you 3 rewrites for your cool description of the musical instruments and the way that you all did that. So
okay,
that brings you all back up to 5.
Okay, so let's see. We'll roll that. We'll see how we go. Let's see. We need 8 and above.
Yes, correct.
All right. So I have So it was 6 dice. So a 7, a 2, an 8, a 5, and then 2 10s. So, so that is 5 successes.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So you securing the rope on the other side, and obviously, you know, we'll say it's like maybe 120 feet in total, right, from one end to the other. All of you working together, basically, but just with that check alone, there's so many successes that none of you actually need to to even jump in on the. Basically, Glintwing just carries you all, and just, you know, from this angle can just, you know, point out the bits of the bridge to grab, and you repair it, and you start to make. Basically, the bridge is repaired enough so that you can, holding onto the rope, just kind of like make your way across the sand in case you know, had some suspicions as to whether or not this sand was treacherous in some way. And so with that, soon the group of you are making your way across the sand pit to get to the other side. And it is about that point that all of a sudden you can see that there is a large creature moving in the sand. This quicksand does not deter it. One single cartilaginous fin protrudes from the surface like a terrifying beacon of danger as it's only about 10 feet away. Who would be walking first? Would that be Shalnar, maybe? Are you the tank of the party? Are you normally up front?
So he's going to be probably last to make sure everybody else gets across.
Oh, okay.
And so, because if he when he gets on the bridge, if he's too big and breaks it, then he doesn't ruin it for the rest of the party.
That's actually really smart. Good call. So whomst then, may I ask, is leading the single file across this treacherous bridge that's about to be attacked by a monster?
I would assume I would try to bring up the rear, probably, to make sure that to make sure everybody else gets across. Because if I fall in, I'm not too worried about me. But
okay, so Swan and Shalnar are basically the last two. Out of Callisto and Mechadocus, who is...
I think I'm still wearing the shoes, so I'm just like moonwalking backwards across. Just like, come on, follow me. I got this.
That's amazing. Great. That's so cool. All right. So that definitely, so you notice that the fin is unfortunately coming towards you, whatever this creature is. And you actually notice also that there's another one, which is coming from the other side. You're being flanked by two of these strange beasts, which we will call sand raveners. They're basically gigantic, monstrous sand sharks. The special effects budget's actually pretty good with these. They're like they're not stop motion. They're, you know, like large Jim Henson puppet style monstrosities that are making their way. But we are going to enter our first combat.
Woohoo!
And so let me talk really quickly about how we roll initiative. So initiative works in slots. So you roll your initiative, and then whatever score you get, that becomes like a player slot, right? And then you can choose to have whatever. So for example, if Travis gets 5 successes on initiative and then Alexis gets 2, that can mean that Alexis actually goes at 5. You know, that's a player slot now. Does that make sense? So initiative is going to be, you're going to be rolling the lowest out of your cunning and athletics, or your, I'm so sorry, I had this right here.
Dex empathy?
Thank you so much. Sorry, Dex and empathy, or cunning and athletics. Whatever is the lower pool for you, you roll, and just like any other roll, you tally successes, and I mean, there's no botching or anything like that, so let me know what you get.
0.
0.
2.
Guess you have 2.
I got 5.
Oh, hey, there we go. That's so weird. I
Hey.
said 5 and 2. So we have 0, 0, 5, 2, and
1.
Great. Okay. So the way this works is one of the enemies, these sand raveners, is going to be going at 4, and the other one is also going to be going at 0, which means that you go first. So basically, it's going to be player slot first. So who would like to take the first turn?
My recommendation is we give it to Callisto so that she can get across that, get out of the way before there's some problems. My suggestion.
Well, that's fair. These monsters are definitely going to be attacking you regardless, though. So you may want to deal with them. Although
if she can get past,
deal with them
we can fight it. Is my thing. Or if she doesn't want to get past, that's fine. I just think that since she's up front, my suggestion is that we let her go first.
Absolutely. Well, either way, Callisto, you're up first. What would you like to do?
I tell my companions to cover their ears, and I let out my shattering glass shriek.
Oof.
And I just scream, "Oh my God, they're so nasty. Oh my God, save me."
That's amazing. Please tell us the mechanics of that one. How does that one work?
I have the painful ability to emit a note that shatters glass.
Okay.
And once per session, I can unleash my sonic fury on targets within short range.
Ah, yes.
And I get an attack with the shockwave tag.
Mm-hmm.
And I can roll command or persuasion plus presence.
That is amazing. So yeah, please go ahead and make an attack. Now, are you attacking the one on the left or the right?
The one that looks closest to me.
That's the one on the left. So yeah, please roll an attack using this incredible magical scream.
And I don't know what like the shockwave or stuff like that means.
All right, just looking that up now. I will let you know.
Well, I got 3 1s, but also a 10.
Good, very good. Okay, so yeah, so you are definitely going to be dealing some damage to this thing. So it kind of shudders and like the sound wave effect goes across. We'll say that they just kind of shake the camera a little bit to sort of get the point across. You definitely think that you've hurt it, but it's not defeated at this point. But it's definitely a very sound hit. So. I'm terribly sorry. I'm just trying to shockwave. You can actually attack both of them.
Yeah, it's targets.
There we go. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So that way you are actually going to be dealing a little bit of damage to both of the sand rathers. Okay, great stuff. Now, whom would like? Oh, sorry. Pardon me. One of them is going to go now, and so. Callisto, did you also, after screaming, did you also move across to the other end of the bridge, or are you staying there to battle with your companions?
If it doesn't like immediately look like they actually shattered into millions of pieces, then I'll probably hightail it out of there.
Okay, so you run to the other side. So in that case, then, I'm going to say just because you're the biggest, Shalnar, these monsters are going to attack you. So... let me just quickly roll that for them. So one of them just surges towards you. The camera cuts from you to the shark, to you to the shark, and then the fin lashes out at you. Okay. So Shalnar, you have taken a hit of 3 damage. And so the way that this works is that that is going to fill up your top row there. Now you can choose, it's up to you. Just one second, sorry. I was going to grab this real quick.
I'm taking the damage.
You're taking it? Great. Okay, awesome. Well, in that case, it's nice and easy. You get filled up. You're grazed a little bit. We'll say that one of its giant, strange monster teeth just kind of gives you a fashionable
it's just a flesh
wound. Yeah, it's just a flesh wound. Fantastic. What player would like to go next?
I'm happy to wait.
So
Wing, Mikadokus.
I think is our goal just to get across, or is it to allay these sand beasts?
Both.
Okay. We got a yes and this shit. I would like to use our I would like to use one of our things we chose, a timely rewrite. And I would like to slap my forehead and be like, oh, of course. I always thought Greek jitsu was mostly about refining oneself on the inside and beating the shit out of the spirit of people. But I guess all that punching and kicking I did at the Athenaeum could really come in handle right now. And I just assume the most comical and possibly homoerotic pose I can strike, like hands up like asps, crotch flared out, gyrating wildly, and just with that, using what is obviously the precursor to a modern wire team, I just go straight up, kick, and then just go straight back and then down on the bridge again. Like this could not look more mechanical if it were done by Optimus Prime.
That is amazing. That's
very
great.
I kick ass for the Lord kind of moment.
That's so great. Well, so yeah, please. I mean, listen, so that's definitely close combat, but man, that can be presence, that can be dexterity, anything that you feel is appropriate.
Oh,
there.
all of them are terrible unless I can cunning them in the face or manipulate them in the face.
I'd say that. Oh, go ahead.
This was the rewrite for timely skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you declare a skill, and then the remainder of the scene, you roll as if you have 5 dots in that skill. So plus whatever attribute you tie that to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to tie that to close combat.
What is the cost for that one? Pardon me.
It's only one.
Rewrite.
Oh, great! Awesome. Yeah. So it's definitely 5 dice from your close combat, and then I'll allow manipulation. Why not?
Okay, I manipulate them right in the face.
You manipulate them.
Yeah,
oh man, this is 9 dice. This is almost as much as a starting exalt can do.
You're messing with them, right? You're doing like a feint. It's just too weird. Like you're doing like,
confusing them.
Exactly.
You're manipulating the laws of physics.
Yeah.
I
don't think it works that way. That would be great. We need to bring that back to the maid side. 3 successes.
Wow. All right. That's awesome. Yeah. So you smack one of the sharks on the left and you actually cause it to sink back into the sand. You do enough damage to it that it decides that discretion is the better part of valor, and it turns tail. Yeah, it literally has a tail. It literally turns tail and flees. Great. Now, whom would like to go next? Glintwing or Shalnar? What's one?
Let's see. Well, I think I can do something. Let's throw some magic at it, some magic glitter or something.
Perfect.
Just annoy it, if nothing else. Let's see. So we will carefully, we'll squint at it, and we'll try to approach it tactically. So I'm going to use intellect and aim to maybe shoot it in the eye. It's with magic. If nothing else, it'll do something. So
yeah, no, you can absolutely do that.
I just picture it like cutting to the puppet with the hand open, and there's clearly a Burnsomatic torch that someone is holding behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
To make it look like this gout of flame.
Yeah, this would actually work really well with mud in your eye, but that's close combat. But that's fine. We can do this way. All right. So it looks like I only got 1 success on that one.
Okay, but hey, that's still enough to do some more damage to it. So the one that remains is getting closer and closer and encroaching upon your companions, and then the camera cuts. We see Glintwing just all of a sudden, like just right in front of it, blasting out, your damaging fire at it. So that's great. 1 success, perfect. And then who would like to go next?
So there's still the other shark to attack to go.
There's one remaining. Well. Yeah. It's wounded, but it's still kicking, still coming at you.
So what Shalnar's plan is to intercept that one. So I will hold until that one attacks something.
Yeah. Well, it's close enough. It's going to attack you. So if you wanted to just like lean out and attack it from the bridge, you absolutely can. It is within range.
All right. So when it comes, it's going to jump out to attack. Yeah. The idea is to kneel down. And then jump up into it when it's above me and spear it with my horns.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So close combat
and shouting, hear my prayer, and if not, to hell with you.
Nice. And is that a quip?
No, that's a trade. That's the trademark.
Oh, the trademark. Great. Awesome.
So that is trademark is 2 extra dice, right?
It is indeed. Yes.
Okay. And I want to say composure to hold still to be able to spring at the right moment.
Yeah, right. Because you have to just, force yourself to stay calm for long enough and to have patience for it to be just in the right spot to jump up. Perfect.
Swan, it looks like for once you're not the only one who's excessively and aggressively horny.
10 dice and I got 1 success.
That is enough. So you deal just enough damage to it that it decides to leave you the hell alone, basically. So it is now, you impale it in its underbelly and you come down, and then the shark turns and sinks slowly back into the sand, leaving you alone on the bridge. The rest of your companions then manage to get across without any further incident.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
It's like, yeah.
As the sharks swim away, like, it's not you, it's me. I don't like you.
That was a quick.
That's really great. So when you get across the other side of the bridge, you can see that there is a rock. And then all of a sudden, you hear a very, very powerful female voice yell out, "This had better be good." And then all of a sudden, there is this huge puff of smoke. And there is Ares. And I've just been watching Star Trek Discovery, so Ares is 100% Michelle Yeoh. And she is dressed in like golden ancient Greek armor, and sort of sits there glowering at you with like sort of very, very similar to Shalnar, just has like 5 or 6 different weapons strapped to her back, and is on a golden chariot. Not actually being pulled by anything, just a chariot just kind of sitting there for, there you go. There you are. So she says, "You," and she just points obviously at Theodosis, who just, his knees start to tremble. Says, "I told you never to bother me again. I cannot believe that you have actually done this. This displeases me, but it seems like you have actually bested my trial. And so begrudgingly for that, I will give you my blessing. But I still don't like you," she says, turning to Theodosis, who just says, Yes, Mom."
I say, "Ares, you look like you're stressed out. And I imagine with those shoulders, you've got to be sore. Let me take your mind off of all this."
Wow. Okay. Interesting. You know what? Let's give me a roll. Holy crap. All right. Let's say gosh, what is it? Persuasion and whatever you can
manipulation.
Yeah, that'll do it. Try to get Ares on side.
Does my well-oiled abs apply?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I feel like Ares can appreciate some abs.
So, and that's
everyone has their own way of beseeching the gods.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. Wow, all those dice got 2 successes. Oh, 3 successes because of the enhancement.
3 successes. Okay, you know what? Okay, she kind of gives you a look up and down. Her eyes linger on your well-oiled abs for a fraction of a second or two, and says, "Yes, I still don't like you, but at least I tend to judge people by the company they keep, and you have some rather interesting company. If I had more time, maybe later, but I will help you out. I will take you to the 3rd trial.
Well, that's awesome.
Do not disappoint." And with that, she clicks her fingers, and all of a sudden, you teleport again, and all of you are standing on what appears to be an island, like a tropical island. Behind you, you can see there is a storm brewing on the sea leading from the mainland. The island is not terribly far off the mainland. You're all pretty sure you know vaguely where you are. But where the sea goes, you can see that there is a storm, and it seems like you have avoided a treacherous little short but treacherous and dangerous sea voyage to get across to the island because of the fact that Swan charmed Ares so well. So well done.
If at all possible, I would like to have my breeches rolled up to my knees and like a coconut drink in my hand when we like when we appear. I'm just
instantly you're just there already with your.
It's already vacation time, man.
That's amazing. Great. So there you are. So Theodosis looks around and his face gets rather serious and he says, right, I know which way to go. The final trial lies ahead. I want to thank you so much for all your help. Let's go. And he starts to follow along a path that leads deep into the island. So as he sort of stops, as he approaches, however, and says, and you can see no role required for empathy on this one. He is getting very, very scared. It's like he is really, really fearful of this trial. And he says, oh dear, this one I have to do myself as well. You have to do it also because you've chosen to be my champions. But unfortunately, I can't sit this one out, whatever it is. And I don't know what it is. Although you know what? Maybe I don't. And maybe someone should go and look around for a boat to get us back. Because you will need a boat. We're not going to be teleported back, surely. Who knows what Aphrodite will do. We can't charm everyone with abs, can we? So I'll stay here.
We haven't tried yet.
Abs. I have scales.
We haven't tried yet. I've got fur.
My abs are on the inside.
So it looks like he's looking ready to sort of pike out and go back and sort of hang here. You think you might need to have some persuasion to convince him to stay true and continue on. Because if what he says is true, he needs to actually participate in this particular trial.
I kind of reach my hands out and I'm just like, Theodosis, love conquers all. Sometimes it just needs a little push. And I just bodily shove him with my quip in front of us the entire way there.
You know what? That is so great. And because that is such an appropriate quip, I will judge it as a successful use of the quip. And I won't even have you roll for that. It's just too great. So it fits too perfectly. So he just kind of like takes the hint and looks at you and looks at Callisto's just incredibly earnest eyes and expression and just says, all right, I'm sorry. I didn't know what came over me. Let's do this. He turns and starts to walk down.
For point of reference, cowardice is what overcame.
Oh.
It's all right. I'm familiar.
He says, trust me. I know all about it. Right. So that's it. So you make your way to the final trial. It's foggy. And as you approach what is another cave, so they're repeating themselves. In fact, you definitely think it's the first set redressed. Like they've just got like a couple of extra tropical plants out the front, but it's definitely just like the first cave. But they've cranked the smoke machine up to 11 because there's just smoke and mist all over the ground. And as you make your way, yeah, exactly. That's it. And so as you make your way inside, into this cave, inside is just as foggy as outside. You've entered in what appears to be some kind of mirror maze. Or at least that's what it looks like. The visibility inside is actually pretty terrible. It's like the lights are way down. There is soft music playing in the background. It's very 80s kind of synthy. It's got that, but it's like, a weird kind of haunting pulse, like, sort of, I guess, 80s trance music or whatever. But it feels like it's coming from everywhere. And as soon as you walk through, can everyone please make me an enigmas and cunning roll?
We can attempt this without enigmas, right?
Oh, sorry, say again?
If we don't have enigmas, we can still attempt with cunning.
Oh, of course you may. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd like to invoke my trademark of, I've seen this before.
Yeah, you can do that.
I am now rolling 11 dice. We have hit
Gosh.
exalted levels.
Love it.
That's great.
Right. And I got one success.
Before, once we realize this is a maze, Shalnar is just gonna look around and be like, "Don't
This is a
you
stereotype.
You're just like, oh, really?
Dare. I don't want to
Really?
hear it from any of you." One success.
5 successes. Bring it.
How'd everyone else go?
2.
Okay. So basically, you all fail except for Makadokus. And you all get separated. It's that part where each of you gets separated in the mirror maze. Makadokus, obviously you're separated by virtue of the fact that you're the only one left, but at least you have the confidence of knowing that you were not going to get bamboozled and separated. Your companions did. You're just standing there right there, and all of you soon find yourself staring at a mirror. And in particular, manifesting out of the mirror, you can see Aphrodite, who I also cast as Lucy Lawless, as you do. So,
you?
so Aphrodite is Lucy Lawless, with sort of like blood red hair, all done in sort of Greek style curls, and a sort of a cream colored toga on, which of course is very sort of scantily covering her body. She also has the glistening abs and shoulder frame thing. It's a very gratuitous costume for sure. And so as each of you approaches the mirror and you look up, you can see that she looks at you and she smiles and she turns, actually, sorry, just 1 second. I apologize.
Noise.
During this second, Shalnar yells out throughout the maze, "Swan, did you know your ex is a god, apparently?"
Well, X is. Long story. Well, now is not the time.
That's great. Okay, so okay then. In that case, Swan, you're first. So she looks to you and she says, "I'm here to make you a deal. You've come this far, but I suggest that you take my offer instead." And she sort of puts up to the mirror. Obviously, there's still a mirror separating you two, but it's like she's offering you a cloak and says, "Take this cloak. It'll give you the power of invisibility, and you can use it to leave. But the price is only you and you alone get to leave this place, none of your companions. Do you take the deal or no?"
Listen here, Toots. There's no way I'm taking a deal from you that involves putting on more clothing.
That was the line in the sand.
That's it.
Yep. Well played, sir.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, so can you give me an integrity plus resolve roll, please?
I can try.
Dearie me.
2 successes.
Wow. Okay. So somehow you managed to hold true and not suffer from the enchantment that's being put upon you. That's really great. Okay. Glintwing. Same thing. Aphrodite is in front of you. She smiles at you warmly and says, "Is there something about being a puppet, Glintwing? Something that you in particular can't do because you're not human, that you've always wanted to? Is there some part of you that really wants to? Is this like some food that you can't eat, or some activity that you can't participate in, that you sort of makes you part of, I guess, like your inhuman nature that you find, I guess, disappointing, or that gives you jealousy towards other folk?"
No, I have little hands, and if I eat anything bad, Theodosis rubs my tummy, you know.
Let me get that little fire burst.
So no, yeah, I like being a dragon. It's fun.
You like me? It's pretty good. Okay, all right. In that case,
It's pretty
Aphrodite.
good. I get to, just sparklies. It's fun. I get to chase sparklies. It's fun.
That's true. Actually, yeah. You know what? That's very true. It'd be pretty awesome to be a small dragon. She says. So she holds up what looks to be a fruit, like it looks to be sort of like a purplish red fruit, and she says, "Glintwing, this is the most delicious fruit in the entire world. It is ambrosia. It's food of the gods. I will give this to you, and you may eat it and delight in it. But the price is that none of your friends, none of your other companions will ever be able to eat again. Do you accept?"
What? No. It's like, can I just nope this
You can.
enchantment?
Of course you may.
Okay.
Yeah. Integrity and resolve, please.
It came from Stephen King's short story Thinner. What? That was a swerve.
I was gonna invoke nope to cancel the enchant, try to negate the
Sorry,
disable
of course,
the rule.
yes. What? No, yeah, done. Absolutely
But
done.
it gives me a +1 enhancement on mysticism rolls to disrupt or disable energy magic or enemy magic. So since this is like a magical effect, I just want to no.
Just no. It's just nope.
No.
I love it. I like the idea that Glintwing's just like, nah, not even before. She's not even finished really giving the whole spiel. It's just like,
it's like they'll never eat again. It's like, why? That's messed up. No, just never. No,
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Stop.
No, perfect. So Shalnar, she turns to you and says, "I offer you a chance to meet others of your kind. You must be lonely. If you agree to give up this trial, stop this quest, I will take you to a place with many other Minotaurs. You will be amongst your own people. However, the price is all of your companions will never see those they love again. Do you accept?"
I imagine while he was going through this, he has been touching on them. Yes, I did. He's been touching on the mirrors that the maze is made out of. Is there any sense that they are just mirrors, or is there some reinforcement behind them?
You think that they are, I mean, as much as it's a magical conjuration and all that other nonsense, you do think that they are actual mirrors that can be broken and such like that.
So he is not even going to respond. He is just going to put his head down and run right through the mirror.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Cast fist.
Yeah.
Most effective.
You know what?
Against a mirror.
I like that a lot. You know what? You're also going to have to give me an integrity and resolve check, but I'm going to give you a +2 enhancement because I like the direct nature of you just smashing through the mirror.
Now it's just archetype rolls that get the bonus from just a flesh wound. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, any of your archetype skills.
Yep.
One success.
That's all you need because of the enhancement that I granted you for that. So yeah, it's perfect. It's just nah, smash. Glintwing and you are just an instant, not even close. You smash through the mirror dramatically. The smoke machine swirls around you. And
I imagine he just kind of keeps running and smashing through as many mirrors as he comes across.
Yeah, exactly right. Callisto, the offer presented to you as she looks at you and once again smiles lovingly and says, "See, you are so lovable and you are honestly a favorite of mine, but you could be more lovable still. Callisto, I would offer you the magical ability to sway the hearts and minds of any that you talk to. But the price is, if you accept my gift, your friends will never be able to speak again. Do you accept?"
No. But I do take a while to think about it.
It's like everyone was like, no, never. You're like, huh.
I mean, if I could sway them, do they need to speak? I could just speak for them, maybe.
And sway the hearts and minds of everyone. Well, if your final answer is no, eventually, sure. But
I would like to point out this would mean you would shut Swan up permanently. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, if nothing else is tempting, right? No, that's great. Give me an integrity and resolve check, please.
One success.
Splendid. Okay, so you are partially enchanted, and so you are. Just 1 second. Where are we? Just gonna go grab here.
That was an integrity roll, right?
Integrity and resolve.
Can I use my "I can do this all day" trademark?
Yes.
Okay.
You may.
That adds. Sorry, how many to it?
2 extra dice.
2 extra.
And also because you can use a rewrite as well. You have 4 remaining.
I'm gonna use my trademarks. It's supposed to mean that I'm like really hard to like persuade and get convinced to do things. So
exactly right, yeah.
And I still only get the 1 success.
Okay.
Rewrites.
Rewrites.
All right.
We got 4.
We got 4 still? Okay.
And we're at the end of the line.
This is spoiler alert. This is like this last couple of rolls of the whole session. So you may as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Burn them all.
I'll use 2.
Dracaris.
Yeah.
And there's that second success. So.
There we go. Splendid. All right then. So great. So she looks disappointed in particular and sort of says, fine, and fades away once again. And then finally, Mechadocus. She looks to you and says, you are very smart, too smart for your own good sometimes. We're real, by the way. But still, I give you this offer.
Which is exactly what a fake god would say.
You are you have great knowledge, I will give you that, a frustrating amount. But I can offer you more. I can offer you a godly secret to the universe. But in order to accept this, I will tell one of your companions a truth that will break their heart. Do you accept?
Oh, what are you going to do? What's your truth? Is it something like, oh, you're all going to die in the end, or something like your mother never loved us? This group consists of a dragon, a guy who tried to F a god, someone who just wants to fly, and a minotaur who's surprisingly cool with it. What truth are you going to tell them? Or you just bring it. Have fun with it. Just what? Yeah. It's like, I don't even want your thing. What secret to the universe are you going to give? You going to rock me some Oprah's book club bullshit here? Or are you going to be like, you just need to believe in yourself more? What secret wisdom do you have to offer?
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
No, I decline. What am I rolling?
Integrity and resolve, and I'm going to give you an enhancement to that. So basically, all you need is 1 success, because that's beautiful. Well done.
Yeah, I gotta do my trademark of you shall not pass on that one.
Of course.
2 successes.
Splendid. All right. So that's it. You've overcome the illusions and you have successfully turned down the bribes. And then all of a sudden, all the illusions dissipate and you can see that whichever way you take, you soon all find yourself standing back at the entrance of the cave. And Theodosis is there as well. So he looks to you, and he actually looks quite sort of calm, and he says, Did you do it?
We did. But per the conditions placed initially, you had to do it too. And we didn't get to see Thomas talk to Thomas about what happened with Theodosius going through it.
Yes, exactly.
Play the dailies back.
It'll be in the deleted scenes in the DVD, so that's fine. So in that case, then you leave the cave and you walk back out onto the beautiful the beach, and swelling up out of the sea, you can see Lucy Lawless's Aphrodite, who is dressed once again gratuitously, in this case, just in sea foam, strategically placed sea foam. She looks at you and looks at Theodosis in particular and says, I see you brought friends. And he looks to her and says, yes, has it been enough? She looks to all of you and says, you, shush, you five. Why? Why did you help him? That's one thing I want to know before I relinquish my part of this curse. You've never even met him before. You put yourself in great peril to do this, and I don't know why.
I'm going to walk up to her,
and
I'm going to say, I can't speak for the
You
rest
look
of my...
stressed.
Can't speak for the rest of my group, but I wanted to do this. And I just lean in and...
Okay, so let's
Travis needs to get out more or less.
Yeah.
I don't know what direction it needs to go.
Okay, all right then. That happened. Too late to change the channel now. Could you go ahead? Actually, you know what? No, you know what? It's Aphrodite. She's just like, yeah, whatever. She just kind of like, she just looks at you with a strange kind of like sort of a raised eyebrow, just like a what are you doing, mate?
I just wink and walk away.
Okay, she shakes her head and grins and says, "Not an answer? Does any of you have an actual answer as to why you helped him?"
They said we could be rich.
This rich guy sounds really cool.
Okay, great.
And I just go, go on.
No, please.
And I said, I may be a wizard. I may be a mechanic, but the thing I strive to do is to be a great composer. And with your inspiration, I have finally finished my masterpiece. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
And I pull out a very small penny whistle and I go, toot, toot, gods are dicks.
She says, okay, she just shakes her head and says, mortals continue to infuriate and puzzle me. Whatever. The point is, I will relinquish my part of the curse. You have proven yourself, Theodosis, to be loyal and true. So I will relinquish the curse completely on one condition. The blessing that I gave you originally is gone. You'll have to deal without my blessing and hope that your natural skills and charisma are enough to continue your splendid career. And no more priest bringing. And visit a temple, would you? Honestly, it wouldn't hurt you to pay your respects to me every once in a while. And with that, he just sort of glumly nods. And then we cut to the final montage scene. You are successful and triumphant. You return to the festival. We'll say that she probably teleports you back, although it's left ambiguous since the camera just cuts, basically. And we can see that he and Penelope rush to embrace each other, and you can see that the enchantment on them has gone. So they're not quite as attractive. What's that?
They completely miss each other.
They miss each other. No, exactly. No.
Without the blessing of grace.
They don't look quite as poised and quite as attractive. Like they probably just put a little bit of makeup on them. I mean, gosh, how you'd make those two those two unattractive, I've got no idea. But they do the makeup department does a reasonable job of just making them slightly less glam. You know, it's more sort of like their hair's a bit messy and their clothes aren't quite as resplendent and such like that. But you know, they are still a good-looking athletic couple who continue about their career. And then finally we have the festival. We have the actual trapeze artist and acrobatics display. And you know what? Even without Aphrodite's magical enhancement, they still do an amazing job. It's very well done. To wrap things up, what do we see in our, I guess, to sort of bookend this, what do we see each of your characters do in the, you know, the classic sort of celebration at the end of the thing and in the festival? Let's just go right to left, actually. Let's go, Terry, you first. What do we see Theodosis doing in victory? Any final words or any final bookend? It's all you now.
I think I am playing the Keytar. And as I let one final power chord, the mechanical sheep I was riding earlier, just out of its udders, just like sprays the crowd with like mead or something like that. And it just goes over and everyone's doing it, and it hits two of the children on Shalnar's horn and just knocks them off in this hydraulic spray of intoxicating liquors.
That's amazing. And Shalnar, apart from getting hit with that spray, what do we see you doing to bookend this successfully completed quest?
He is juggling swords that they took off the Ares tree.
Yeah, and there's a group of kids around you again. You're going, yay!
Skillfully juggling them with them sitting on his
It's like
horn.
an insurance risk.
Yes, it is.
That is amazing. Yeah, like you can just see like the prop handlers on the outskirts of the screen just being like, ooh, I just take it down.
They're props.
They're props.
Not the swords, the children.
Prop children. Callisto,
Just like a
what
potato sack.
That's awesome. What do we see Callisto doing to round things out in the final celebration?
So as the trapeze artists, as the couple are doing their act, I decide to join in on the act, and I'd like to use the last two rewrite points to invoke visual storytelling.
Ooh, nice.
And with my magical shoes, I float and hover in midair above everybody with the trapeze act going on kind of behind me. And I orate a beautiful and uplifting story of the gift of flight that the goddess Aphrodite gave to this couple, and just make a miraculous kind of operatic with the visuals and fireworks are going off. And
that's so badass. And Glintwing? What does Glintwing do at the end of this?
Glintwing's probably providing pyrotechnics for the Theodosis's performance, so probably eating a gold coin and shooting gold glitter.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, like they just oh no, sorry, please go ahead.
They're just shooting gold glitter. Just
That's so cool. Yeah, the special effects budget, like I think like at the end of the movie, they found that they had a little bit left over for props budget. And so they're just like, oh yeah, gold glitter, do it. Absolutely. Extra fire effects, extra
It'll
stuff.
be months before the actor that plays Theodosis will be free of the glitter.
You just, I thought I got rid of it all. That's amazing. And finally, Swan. Swan, what is Swan doing?
I think Swan throws open the door to the pub that he was in before, shirt sort of like askew, abs exposed, walks over to what's her name?
Wendy.
Throws a hand out and says, "Give me some sugar, baby."
Perfect. And of course, only because it's the end of the movie, she just drops down the mug, embraces. We end with a big smooch, as all movies should, and it cuts to credits. And it's just 80s, once again, blue writing credits start to come up, and we are done. Thank you so much. You all did an amazing job. I really want to thank you all for playing today. That was a lot of fun. Your characters were really, really great. You all got into the spirit of the whole thing and the tropes and whatever in an amazing way. So genuinely, thank you.
This was so much fun. Thank you. I don't get to sit on this side of the screen very often, so thank you so much for this. And again, I've said this multiple times during this campaign. I'm going to say it again multiple times. This is the game I've wanted since I was a child. I am so jazzed about the opportunity to play it. And I really want everyone to run over to the Kickstarter and back it and tell your friends to do the same. So before we run away, just if we could real quick, let's have everybody tell us who you are, which do pronouns, and where we can find you online. And let's start with our esteemed story guide. And again, thank you so much for taking the time and doing the work, Tom. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
If you could, please give us your pertinent details.
Yeah, thank you. So look, honestly, it was a genuine pleasure. I love all the They Came From games, but it's funny, these two are actually, I think, like my new two favorite for sure. So yeah, jump on that Kickstarter. But yes, I am Tom. I'm the host of Shared Sagas. It's an Australian actual play podcast. It is just, Shared Sagas on Podbean, or we're, Shared Sagas, one word, at gmail.com. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
Excellent. Next up, let's go ahead and have Kim give us your pertinence, please.
Kim, she, her. I'm one of the freelancers that worked on both these games. But otherwise, you can find me and my other projects on studiohnh.com. Otherwise, my Twitter handle is KimGodwin18.
Excellent. Next up, Terry, if you could, please give us your pertinence.
Again, my name is Terry Robinson, pronouns any. If you looked at this game and you said to yourself, well, that was fun. What if I want the opposite of that? What if I want drudgery and complication? What if I want a master's thesis before doing any role? If you said that to yourself, brave listener or watcher, tune in to Mage the Podcast at magethepodcast.com, where we are nearly 200 episodes that nobody asked for into discussing my favorite game, Mage the Ascension, at Terry Robinson on Twitter.
Beautiful. And Alexis, please.
I'm Alexis, she, her. You can find me and announcements for the actual play streams that I do on Instagram. You can just look up Secluded Moment there.
Excellent. And last but not least, I guess that leaves Zach, right? I haven't missed anyone?
I believe it does. Math was never my strong skill. My name is Zachary Naldret, he, him. I can be found on the Bird app at Zach Rules. I have a website that is zachrules.com where my community content and streams and someday the freelance TTRPG writing that I've done will be collected in all one place to be easily found.
Excellent. And I guess that leaves me, I'm Travis Legg. When I'm not here doing things, I'm over at Plastic Age Plays doing things. I write, I develop, I run the programming coordination for the channel, and I do windows and floors. So I will be back here on this channel Tuesday. I will be having an interview with Michaela talking about They Came from the Cyclops' Cave some more, which is going to be dope. There also will be another They Came from the Cyclops' Cave actual play next week, and I believe we will have a They Came from Classified actual play next week as well. So make sure that you're hitting theonyxpath.com on Monday for the Monday meeting notes, because that's where the schedule gets announced. And until then, if you have not yet done so, please head over and back They Came from the Cyclops' Cave and They Came from Classified over at Kickstarter. Tell your friends to do the same. Get your shots, wear a mask, wash your hands, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you again real soon. So much.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a wonderful night.
the latest Onyx Path double feature. They came from the Cyclops' cave, and they came from Classified.
New from Onyx Path Publishing. They came from the Cyclops' cave. Experience fantasy, epic, and magical. Recreate the covers of other beloved role-playing games. But play this one. Use magical effects to disappear. Revel. Gallop and explode. Have you ever turned a tree into a man? Have you ever tied someone to a pillar while barbecuing a hand?
No, please stop. That's vile.
Play as fairies, giants, warriors, and wizards. But don't sleep through the action and the drama. Visit distant lands. Brush tiny people. Chart your own odyssey to faraway kingdoms. Grip your weapons like they've never been gripped before. They came from the Cyclops' cave, a game of cinematic fantasy inspired by all your favorite movies of fantasy cinema.
New from Onyx Path Publishing. It's stylish.
Booyah! Oh, you wait till I get up. I'm gonna give you such a hiding. Oh, smacko!
It's mysterious. I say, this button wasn't here yesterday when I looked. What happens if I push it? Oh, luckily the bookcase only went and moved. I wonder what happens.